The wandering wanderlust is sleeping. The gentle ambient sounds of a non-existent town outside, uh, coaxing you each into your rest. The night is going easily. You're able to rest if you care to, or burn a bit of the midnight oil, able to maybe get in a bit of studying, or if you care to keep watch, maybe have a bit to drink. As you all pass the night peacefully within the Wandering Wanderlust or the surrounding area, tell me a little bit about how each of your characters spends the evening.
Desmond has tucked himself away into a corner and is deep in study with a series of scattered scraps of paper and scribblings, making connections in between various points across the variety of correspondence and research papers and notes that were found in Muirwood.
I think Ava sleeps pretty hard for the first 6, maybe even 7 hours, something like that. Uh, Unless someone had disturbed her before that. When she wakes up, she notes uh, a flower that was apparently she'd rolled over on at some point. It's a little bit crushed. She doesn't quite know what to do with it and sets it aside. But it does get her thinking, and she sort of goes over to where Peach may be resting, and gets her up just long enough to sort of ask for the satchel that's inside of the bag of holding. And if she has a little bit of time, she, in a really casual way, is just sort of looking at the unknown potions that they have from the alchemist kit, trying to sort of speculate on and think about what the two unknown substances might be, the two spells.
Yeah, Peach would groggily but gamely help Ava get the potions from the bag and then offer if she needs any help. But I think, yeah, I thought as much.
Yeah, she just wants her to rest.
Ava, are you done? Okay, I didn't want to jump on you if you still had a minute. Peach is mostly resting. She takes some time before bed to go through a few books in her pack. She goes through the seemingly bottomless floral bag and pulls out a few journals. Some are her mother's, a few are her own, and one she has filled with more recent notes about people disappearing and inconsistencies that she's found. And she pages back a few pages and she rereads a passage that she's written time and time again. The story of the cook and the princess that Salinger told her the last day they were together. She rereads it and then, satisfied that the story at least still exists, written in her own handwriting, but it is still there, she will gently close the book, look through some of her mom's work, and then she will quietly play off to sleep. She'll take a few minutes to kind of gently sing to herself and anybody in the room, which again is everybody. It's kind of sleepover style. You hear Peach sort of singing herself to sleep.
Earlier in the night, Casey is kind of lounging next to the fire, his shadow cast along across the floor, and he's talking aloud, seemingly to no one in particular, maybe to himself. And he's like, I mean, the room was great. They obviously know me really well. I mean, whoever made this knows all of us really well. Well, yeah, but I mean, there's got to be something good at the end. Like, they wouldn't take the time to make all this if there wasn't something good at the end. And I'm pretty sure Doc's next, but I mean, she's gonna handle it just like all the rest of us did. And as he has this conversation to seemingly no one, he slowly drifts off to sleep. Probably too close to the fire to be comfortable for most people, and just sleeps soundly the rest of the time.
On he sleeps what looks like pretty deeply and sort of eerily when it's returned to sleep. Basically in a corner, pretty straight, arms at her sides, and just like still. Doesn't toss, doesn't turn. And she wakes up just when it's her time, when she's woken for her watch, just by eyes popping open and the slits of her eye, the pupils of her eyes, telescoping wide for a second before they snap back into a slayer pupils. As she does, as she wakes up to take her turn, she checks, sort of almost reflexively checks weaponry, all the things that she has, pauses for a moment over the arrows in her quiver, and then goes to see if thinks to herself for a moment, and then see if Esmond is still awake.
It's woken up, and Esmond's still there by candlelight, doing some work.
Munch just pads up behind him and says, "You keep a lot of tools around you, right? Things in your bag, if I remember right, stuff that was found in the city."
Yeah, I've got a few things. A lot of the stuff is split between my bag and Peaches, but were you looking for something specifically?
A lathe, uh, and trust me that I'm not trying to hit on you right now, but do you have any wood?
Yeah. I probably got some like spare wood for like emergency uses of like campfires. I think. Esmond will reach into his satchel and pull out a couple, like some sticks, branches, some broken pieces of 2x4. Um, not a lot, but just some spare wood.
Some of the 2x4s, looks over some of the branches, tosses them aside, measures out some, and then takes a couple and says, "This will do me, all right." I also wanted to ask you, that little trick where we hid from that spider, the giant time spider. How did you do that? Seems like a very useful little thing.
Uh, Kind of a smaller manipulation of my door jam device. Uh, Much more specific and narrow range of capabilities, but essentially kind of took that concept and uh, it uh, manipulating the weave and implementing some of the mechanics of how that device works allows me to um, create that that little pocket dimension that we we're in for that short time. Yeah.
Okay. Can you repeat that as if you were talking to a 6-year-old?
Ooh. I uh, I have this miniature device that I tied to the end of a rope that manipulates arcane energy, and when I throw it up, it pops and creates a pocket dimension.
Device too? Is this something anyone can use? Like like the police at Shepherd's End, or
Certainly, anyone could use it. The way that I use the spell is very specific to my own thought process, based on my training or lack thereof in some cases. Um, at the end of the day, it's more of having not a bare minimum grasp of uh, knowing how to manipulate arcane energy and understanding the very basics of uh, planar outer planar studies.
so the answer to my question was no. You cannot explain it like as to a 6-year-old.
I can explain it over time so that you could have an understanding that a 6-year-old would grasp, if that helps.
Are you calling me a 5-year-old?
I'm calling you a student in training.
Fair enough. I mean, it's not like I've never done things with magic and whatnot, and she makes a little with it, almost as if he feels a little bit warmer and a little bit more alert as she says this, and she kind of like gestures near his face, close enough to touch, but not quite. Basically, she would cast guidance on him for just a few seconds, or literally a minute. But I think the way that you think about this is very different from, I mean, pocket dimensions. I know what they look like when they went from the pale land to the place between. I wonder if that's something that I could sort of imitate in this to try and understand this better.
Let's let, let's try this. It's going to be uh, Esmond has he's been talking to you this whole time, but he's also been going back and forth between speaking with you and looking back and making more notations on his studies. At this, he sets everything down and turns to you fully. Let's do this. Uh, yes, you do have an understanding of magic. So more than anything, you just need to grasp how to manipulate that magic to perform that spell differently from how I do it. So uh, l- let's set aside some time over the next few days, and I can work with you to develop that
Fair,
if you want.
fair enough. Looks like you're busy at the moment anyway, and I should probably be replenishing my arrows if we keep having days like this.
All right, yeah. Let's meet up later on, I guess.
She takes the wood that you've lent her and the clamp and the lathe and is off to step outside of the little bubble to keep an eye out on the area around while she works.
At some point in the night, maybe somewhere asleep, Eva, you've woken up a little bit early, and Casey is on watch.
Yeah, okay. Seeing that he's on watch, she sort of sits down. Yeah, she makes her way over to where he's sitting and sort of takes a seat somewhere beside him. Sort of looks around the room at it and says, "Anything interesting happening?"
Casey glances down at the kind of holes scattered across the entire floor where the flames were shooting out of earlier. No, pretty quiet. Glances back towards the moat that the tentacles came out of. Why? You want to get into something?
No, I'll take the quiet time while we have it. Maybe later.
Think we can count on that?
Yeah, it seems that way. I don't know if we made the right decision with that white pudding.
But we did make a decision.
Yeah, sometimes that doesn't always... Sometimes that takes us a little longer than maybe it should. Still, what he did to those bodies...
Yeah, I know that didn't quite sit right with you.
No.
For what it's worth, I didn't know that's what he was into.
No, you couldn't have known. None of us could have. And it wasn't... Yeah, and it definitely isn't something that sits right. When I was thinking about it, I think it was kind of like one of those times where you're asleep, but you kind of still feel like your mind's going. And I was thinking back to watching it happen and how mad I was. And at first I was thinking that I was really angry because you said we should do something and I'd agreed to it, and I thought, oh, you know, kind of went the wrong way, but actually I wasn't really mad at you. Like you said, like you couldn't have known what he was into. I was mad because I saw what he did, and like I didn't do anything. I just watched him slink off and parade all of those parts after him.
Yeah, it's a tough feeling to have, I'm sure. I mean, so you know, I would have backed your play, whatever you decided in that moment.
No, I know. And I appreciate it, though. You're in, you say it. For now, I just can't really. Gotta put it out of mind, you know? But I think that after running through those flames yesterday, or I guess last night, whatever time it is, hard to tell in the caverns. But it made me realize that the next time it does happen, I'm not gonna just stand by and watch. I'm gonna jump into the fire, you know? I'm not gonna let that happen again. So, maybe some good will come from it.
It's the only way to live.
I disagree with that assertion, but I take your point. Anyway, I'll let you keep with watch. Make sure no tentacles come up from the deep.
As she starts to walk, I presumably she's walking away.
Yeah.
Casey calls after her. Ava.
And she stops and turns.
This probably strikes you because he never calls you Ava, he calls you Doc. Can't wait to see what you do next.
Well, let's hope if it's dumb, somehow managed to pull it off, like you always seem to. See you in a bit, Casey. She makes her way back.
There's a point in the night when Ray, you're woken up to get some water. As you come, I guess, your little room in the Wanderlust. It's quiet in the main room. You hear some like low, off-key humming and singing. Stories and shadow. Oh, the maiden's way. And as your feet hit the stairs and it kind of creaks, the singing stops. And you see a kind of a broad, stout silhouette in front of the fire. You see Fane sharpening his axe.
She's sort of just in like the super duper simple robes, like all the vestments and whatnot, like left with her bag. But she comes down. I was gonna make some tea. You don't have to stop on my account.
What do you want to say? No, don't mind me. He kind of averts his eyes.
She sort of like pulls out 2 cups from a small pouch in her little snack pouch, grabs some tea leaves, crinkled, maybe a bit more fruity than normal, but tea leaves. This isn't what you expected when, or how the midwinter celebrations to go. We didn't plan on it this way.
It's been a bit strange, I'll say. Are we really locked in here? Wait, does he know that? Do they know that? Maybe he doesn't know that.
I think he knows that this is a safe but magical weird place. Mm-hmm. You decide.
No, wait. Yes, he did know that you guys were locking the door. Fane knew that. Okay, yeah. So he did ask them.
Well, when my friends say something, I really do trust them. And this is a whole lot nicer place to spend the night than a lot of camps we found ourselves in. There was a spider once. And a horrible angel.
I've been wanting to ask, but I don't know. Never knew what a good time would be. Everything has been so hectic since you all arrived.
We have one speed. Yeah.
It seems that way. I've lived in the town all my life. In the temple of Brunhilde, I've always gone to pray to the maiden. There are many stories. Ancient times. Heroes come to save us. It's not like I would have expected. What do you know about the maiden and Brunhilde? Have you met them? Have you met her, Brunhilde?
It wasn't face to face, and I think it would be rather surprising if any god were to be beheld by mortal eyes, but it was in a place of her worship that I offered a prayer asking for aid, and she granted it very, very clearly. I follow the maiden. It's not usual that she and Brunhilde are so closely linked, but these are strange times, and for gods to have a similar purpose makes more sense than not. It's just your hometown seems to connect the two a lot more specifically than I've ever seen. The Maiden's Temple that I was raised at had no such mentions, really.
He looks a little stricken for a moment. He says, Are you not the horned maiden, the priestess of Brunhilde?
I'm a priestess of the Maiden, but I think that in some point in time in the history of your village, the two... But she is the Maiden thrice, and I can't say that I know all her secrets.
I don't understand how all of this could have come to be.
I think it's whatever heroes meddled with your town and its history 1,000 years ago. That we'll find something akin to answers maybe at the bottom of this temple.
Yeah, but it is so uncanny, all of the statues. You look just like all of you. So much so we thought you wore costumes.
But don't you see how that's a sign that there's a reason and a purpose for it, and that we have to uncover what that was? It's possible that something was known or revealed to a prophet of your town thousands of years ago, and it could help us now. I think that with how things have become, pleading to the gods that maybe this is the only little slip of help that they could offer us. You know that it's bad, right? That the sky and the tower falling, and it's bad.
The end of days, and our people are said to be prepared for the coming horrors. And the long winter came, we would have food to feed ourselves. And the days grew long. So we would know. I may ask, I wouldn't want to ask when all the others are listening. What are they all like, all of your friends? We've only known stories of the heroes of old, but you seem all to be people.
Well, I think that all heroes are just people when they're alive, and that it's sort of their history is cherry-picked to make them seem a little bit something else after the fact, right? It wouldn't make sense to write a story about that one time the great hero cooked a very terrible porridge, or the one time the hero fell off the roof of a house but was invisible so no one saw. There's a lot.
It'd be very hard to make a shadow play about that.
I think it's a shadow play of the mind, but no, my friends, their hearts are always in the right place. But day to day, we just try to make each choice that's hopefully going to let us wake up in a better place the next day.
He kind of looks around nervously, make sure no one's watching. But, well, maybe we, each of them, what kind of people are they like?
Well, who sticks out to you the most?
There's with the fiery hair. The shirt's open all the way down.
That's Orthocles, but we really just call him Casey. He believes in all of us more than anything else, more than God's, and more than his own crazed luck. He believes that we can do anything. And usually he's not mistaken, but I think it has a lot to do with the crazed luck. And each who provided this respite here in the temple, she sees the brightest side of things, but also takes care of all of us in the ways that you took for granted before you lost your home. I'm sure you've met Doc, Ava. She is more kind-hearted, that even in battle, she would rather heal her enemy than bear to see someone suffer unjustly. They're heroes, but they're people. We have Esmond, who's smarter than anyone we've met. And so he sees the problems that we don't. And unfortunately, because he's the only one who can see them, he's certain that he's the only one that can solve them. And if it goes wrong, he thinks that's his fault too. And Ishalon is only half of the hero that we know. We're missing her sister half, Shalati. They're both brave and strong, and where Shalati was kind of the warmest of all of us, Ishalon is exciting, and I think I've already said brave, but she's fearless. It's not just bravery, there is nothing too scary that she wouldn't figure it out and then shoot it.
Was she the one that thread the arrow so far between all the statues to hit that one in the eye?
She did? Yeah,
So.
that sounds very much so like her. But she's like a shadow, and in one hand I've known her all my life, but in the other hand I've known her sister all my life. And it's hard to say that there's two of them, because they fit that same spot in my heart. So
Let's see.
and there's others, but you know the way the world is, that they're here and they're not here. Does that happen to you?
What do you mean?
Or if you're not directly looking at them, they might slip away out of this reality and into the next.
I don't understand.
Well, Kibbis.
Hey, the kibis.
Yeah, Kibeth.
Well, it's a strange way to say it.
It's. Well, then the hero Kibbis, her name is Kibeth, and she is voracious, but more for cookies than for children. But she's also a helper. She's the person who fixes things and finds things, delivers things and shares things.
Once you know the kibis is real.
She's real. She's just set aside from this reality for the moment. Does that make sense? That doesn't make sense.
I can't say I follow.
It's okay. Maybe when I'm not here, you'll remember that I was here and wasn't here at the same time.
What's Brunhilde mean to you?
I think. Well, no, I know that she wants to help us, but I think that there's a part of her that can't touch us, that can't touch this world. And what the tower did is breaking our connection to the gods. They can't reach us to help us, but they're doing everything that they can. I think they're invested in us.
And Brunhilde that we'd worshipped here in the town, the way that I've known her is a goddess of strength, courage, protection, and drink. And priestess, the maiden, is the arms wide as the choice that the dwarf makes every day to be, and she'll be good or be bad. But anyone could be either.
Well, I think that's the prerogative of us mortals, that we get to choose if we're being our best or not every day.
See. What do you think will happen? Ian, locked in there now. What do you think's waiting at the bottom?
Answers. A solution, a knowledge that we didn't have before that'll help us know what we need to do next. A secret. Something.
There's so much I've been realizing since we've been in here. Seeing this place, its insides. And all of the folly that's befell it. I've heard stories of old, of a kingdom beneath the ground, where people came from before they were in the village.
There is a kingdom underground. I've been there. It stretches far, like the kingdom of Lux here above ground is ancient, centuries of city on city, and built over itself and disrupted by countless earthquakes, and civilizations have risen and fallen underground, and we don't know any of them because they don't reach the light.
Yeah, see? In this place itself, the stories, the ones carved in the pillars and the walls.
Well, which direction do you think? There's the directions that are guiding us deeper, but then there's directions for dwarves as you make your way out. It's two things.
Yeah, but those written in the dwarven runes, they're just like the stories of old that tell us how to live our way. I wonder if this was the place that the great before us came from.
Do you think the dwarves we've met are the dwarves that, well, they would be the dwarves that remained? And if they're just those who stayed, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're your enemy.
Worry to think on it. Are all those that came at us with axe and pick
Yeah.
that we laid low, are they, or are those the ones left behind?
We've had some luck thanks to Casey talking with more martial civilizations. I think we haven't had a chance for any sort of peaceable conversation because it's threatening from all sides, us being here. There. I don't know what... I don't know, but I hope that once the city is safe, that there's something that can be learned or balanced.
Your king, Feldspar. Is he a good king?
Oh, so there's a small caveat about that. A self-proclaimed king is not necessarily a king. It just served the purpose for him to claim the authority of one acting on behalf of a people to broker a peace. Does that make sense? So it serves the purpose of peace to say that he speaks for everyone on the surface, because what he wants is generally quite good for those on the surface, but he was only listened to because of the assumption of authority from the surface.
I see, so he's seeking to reclaim his throne.
I think the words that I'm saying are not portraying the meaning I intend of
It's much to think about.
Yeah, it really is. Because, as far as I know, Casey is my comrade and a friend and someone I fight alongside, but not in fealty to.
I mean, I saw some of your friends literally throw themselves into the flames for him.
They did what? Wait, no, go tell me more about this flames thing.
Aye. There was a great wall of fire that rose up from the stone itself, just like the stories.
Was it his fire? Like, was it Casey's own fire? Or...
I mean, it must be if he's a king. And then he leapt into it without a second thought.
That's accurate to Casey, yes.
It would burn any man to a crisp. And then,
well,
seeing him charge with such bravery into the fire, all of his friends went charging with him to their doom.
But not our doom, right? Because it wasn't... Was it illusionary fire?
It seemed to be they ate the flames themselves.
See, this is how heroes sound much more impressive on paper. This right now is why it sounds fancier after the fact.
Well, our people carve in stone to last. Paper burns. Paper wrinkles.
So you're gonna carve this into stone? Like this specific interpretation of what occurred?
Well, that's how we tell the stories.
Can I see it before it goes into stone to offer
Like a critique.
Like a truth pass? Like a...
Well, notes are always welcome as far as I'm...
Good, yeah. But that does sound a lot like Casey jumping in head first into fire. He has less to fear about fire. You know that, right? Fire doesn't hurt him quite nearly as much as it would hurt any other.
Man cannot be burned.
Well, no, I mean... No, but have you ever seen him take a bath?
No, he was quite avoidant of the water.
He is, like a cat. Put that in stone. Scared of water. Scaredy cat of water.
Scared of water, like a cat. Was
like
the king.
Yes.
I see. This is good.
She sort of like scoots one cup of tea over to him and sits next to him, slightly brooding about how things, the stories that are going to come from this are wildly out of control. And there's No going back. We're gonna be bigger than life no matter what's done, because yep.
Picks up the tea, takes a little sip of it, and goes, "Oh, hey, it's gone soft." Takes out what seems to be a flask of whiskey, pours it in the tea. Says, "It's better." And then we'll fade out kind of from that. Who is the first person to wake up in the morning? Not as much.
It might be Peach. It would make sense that she would wake up with it kind of being like her place.
Yeah, it seems that all the others must be asleep. Peach, you awaken. You can see that he either hasn't. Oh, sorry. He either hasn't gone to bed, or he woke up early. Esmond still seems to be awake. Quill scratching at the table.
Peach would do a quick circuit of the room, just kind of counting bodies and sleeping bags, and coming up irregularly again and again. She'll look at Esmond, who's awake, and just say, who's missing this time? I'm coming up one short than we usually even have. I know Seyfried hasn't been here for a while, and you all don't remember Salinger even, but who's missing this time?
Without looking up from what he is doing, just continuing to write, he just says over his shoulder, Kibeth.
Man. Here I was hoping that I could make something that could keep us all together. But, guess I can't control any more than I can control. Everyone still remember her, though? All those statues and everything?
I remember Kibeth, yes.
All right. Peach would start kind of getting food going.
Or too long. Everyone's maybe come down for their rooms if they care to, and there's describe the food that you've laid out for everyone, Peach.
Also, we have rooms. This is tiny hut, Chris. This is nice. I imagine us all in one tent-shaped space that was just kind of Wanderlust themed.
It's like a capsule hotel. Waterloo.
I was thinking the more like, okay, it's kind of like Wanderlust themed, but it's the idea is like everybody's kind of sleeping on the floor of like Peach's room, like you would do as like a kid, like if you ever had like the whole Girl Scout troop sleepover, or like,
Me, whatever you want it to be, I just assume.
It's a TARDIS.
There could be there can be an upstairs. If there's an upstairs, there can be an upstairs. I just, with all the tiny hut posts, I wanted to make sure I wasn't overpowering it. But yeah, you come downstairs from the second floor of the tiny hut.
The tiniest stairs of the tiny hut.
Tiny mansion.
Peach is putting together an easy morning breakfast of you Southerners call it grits. Yeah, grits. It's mostly grits. Yeah, basically it's a porridge that is made of wheat germ of some kind, and but it's sweetened with honey or syrup. So Peach is just out of her bag of holding. We don't have grits in the north. We call it cream of wheat up here.
Yeah, cream of wheat, malt of meal. Yeah, grits is savory, unfortunately.
Oh gosh,
yeah, when you added the sugar, Bonnie, I was like,
yeah, grits is like
yes. Peach makes sweet grits.
Patrick
I'm team sweet grits.
You can put jam in grits.
Yep. Peach makes some sweet grits. Enjoy. That's what I'm making for breakfast.
Just make oatmeal. You want it to be sweet.
Nope.
Oatmeal is delicious.
Yeah, you don't put honey in cream of wheat? I mean, that's how.
No, I put cheese in my
Butter and
grits.
bacon.
Waffle House style.
Terrible.
Anyway, that's
on
what Peach makes.
On a separate table, I think, you know what, I'm going to make this a running thing, because I think it would be real useful if it was ever actually rediscovered, and so does Seva. She figured out a while ago how to attempt this spell, and maybe has tried it a couple times, but on a separate table, while Peach is preparing on one, Ava goes towards the other one and attempts to cast. Maybe this will be test number 3. Attempts to cast a different spell.
Oh,
Yeah, 1 second. I'll tell you about it in a second. As soon as I gotta do the thing for the character sheet. I did this prematurely. She's trying to cast create food and water. I have to make the buttons happen.
I thought that was a broken spell.
It is a broken spell, but it's one that existed, and it makes sense that she would attempt to try to figure out what's wrong with it. So that's what she's essentially doing. It may never work this whole campaign. I don't care. It just seems like something she'd do.
Get ready.
Out of
roll
character.
initiative.
This is how we got the god of freaking doors down on us. Don't do it.
Wait, what?
No, that's something else. I can explain that.
Doing a forbidden spell in a liminal space.
It's not forbidden. No spell we've ever cast has been forbidden.
I don't know the meaning of the word.
I want to be outside of the tiny hat when you do this.
Too late, you're here. We're all here. Let's go!
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to do it in the thing, and I just realized I haven't.
We are pushing the buttons tonight.
The forbidden side of Create Food and Water just turned this into the tiny chocolate factory.
Yes, I love the tiny wonderless TARDIS with infinite food.
Describe for us in detail what it looks like as you attempt to cast the spell. Yeah.
All right, yeah, so sort of stands sort of at the front of the table, and it's like, all right. She sort of checks a small, like, notepad that she has before setting it down on a chair. Sort of rubs her fingers together, rubs the palms against her, the hem of her pants, takes a deep breath, sort of tosses her head back and forth, and goes, okay, and then starts to feel for it. And as usual, it's a small bits of light sort of emanating just at different points, like little constellations lighting up in the body, just very faintly. And then around the table itself, you see is sort of the same thing starts to happen as little dots of light start to sort of coalesce around the area and start to form vague outlines of different things as they blink in and out of existence until, I imagine, it all, poof, I'm guessing, unless, Chris, you want the spell to work, it all just kind of, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, just before it seems as though the food and drink should take form there on the tabletop, there's a flickering red, like streaks of red lightning, maybe just static, like shocks that tear through the air around. The spell certainly fails, and maybe you should have worked. You did the spell just right. Something's wrong. And you feel, and there's something uneasy. You realize there's a bit of sweat on your palms. Don't know why.
At the table right next to her, Peach would say, "Damn, Ava, I thought you had something going on here. I think I really messed up these grits."
Yeah. Chris, I think you said, I apologize, I missed part of it from my headphone. She just feels like something's wrong?
Feels like a beat of anxiety begin to form in the pit of your stomach, and you're not sure why. And you can feel your palms begin to grow sweaty. It's hard to. Chest feels a little tight. Not sure why.
Ava, you okay? Why didn't it work?
Yeah, she kind of clears her throat, looks over towards where Peach is, and is trying to remain a little composed. And it's like, I don't know. It should have worked. And you can tell, I guess, beads of sweat maybe on her front, and she looks a little frazzled as she sort of reaches for the notepad where she had written everything down, and her hands maybe starting to shake just a little bit, and as she sort of looks around, anxiously trying to figure out what the source of this, where this fear is coming from.
Ava, are you right? Do you want like a cup of tea or a glass of water? I can fix something up.
No, I just think I did something that I shouldn't have done.
Like one of those temporal type spells like Ismond did? Or
Peach,
we're gonna have a
stop.
spider come
Yeah,
in?
can you drop this? Can you just stop this now?
Stop what? The spell?
The whole
Yeah, I
thing,
can take
everything around us.
Did you announce that you were casting a spell, Ava, to everyone?
An announcement's not necessary. You can see that someone is casting a spell as long as it has components and they're not using like meta magic.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah. Before y'all get too into it, Esmond would have rushed over. Ava, what were you just trying to do?
I was just practicing. I was trying to do
Practicing what? What were you practicing?
to create food and water.
Like the givers did?
No, a variation on it. Theirs doesn't work.
Peach, take this down now. Take the dome down now.
Folks are still sleeping.
Now.
Peach takes it down.
And you
She,
see as Esmond starts to yell, Zephyr seems to look nervous and flies over and kind of hides in his cape or whatever you have.
Walk as Ishtalan drops to the ground for the third from her second story to the bed.
Yeah,
I
well,
imagine that's the
as the spell vanishes, you don't fall from any height. You just kind of hit the ground as though you just fell a few inches, but it is a rough awakening.
What's going on? What's going on?
Sorry. That was me. I'm sorry.
Is that energy, that leftover energy still circulating in the air, GM?
No, it seems to have vanished.
Okay. Ava? Do you feel anything else?
No, I think we're good. I think we're okay. I think it's gone.
that wasn't one of those necromantic. That should work, right?
No,
your magic ain't broken like is. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
No, my magic isn't broken. Magic itself is. What Ava was doing, I think, was another type of magic that is currently broken. It's not any of us. It is the world. It's the White Tower. I haven't had a chance to talk about it with any of you because there's been no time yet. But so you wouldn't have known. It's okay. Just we almost summoned the angel of doors again, I think.
Yeah.
Casey grins a little bit upon hearing Doc was casting that kind of spell.
Did we just like snuff out of the tiny hut and we're all like plopped down
Yeah.
on the stone ground? Okay,
It
cool.
all vanished and just.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like me and Fane, just with like our cups of tea, just like suddenly sitting like on the ground, just like unceremoniously, like everything just kind of.
The way I imagine it is
Aw.
like it's almost like a set collapsing, right? Like that transition where it's like okay, like we're moving from the pretend world to the real world with the real actors, and so we pop out, and then it's like, oh, this was all actually cardboard.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
That's good. Sorry for ruining breakfast. Yeah, So as to that, was it because I'm guessing because we were in that space and I tried it? Or should I just not try it at all?
It's complicated. My studies aren't complete, but I guess since we're all here now, uh, I've put together a number of theories looking at the notes and letters that Araya and O found back in Megrun's shop in Mirwood. Basically, the White Tower, when it fell all those months ago, is essentially disrupting the weave of magic as we know it, and the formulae of spells used to manipulate the magic and cast to cast are disrupted for some spells, for potentially so many more. I can't fathom, but it's why the giver's magic, for example, stopped working, because whatever the White Tower is doing is affecting the weave of magic of our world, and basically we have to come up with workarounds to try and cast those spells again.
But I mean, I don't know if it was the same in this world as it was in mine, but
It
the their magic stopped months after the tower fell.
That's true.
the timing would make sense, but the tower didn't fall in the reality that you're from, right?
We didn't hear you, Chris.
What do you mean it didn't fall in where I'm from?
Uh, um, sorry, explain to me. Uh, what you said that your magic stopped working, that where you came from?
No, the giver's magic. It stopped working when the skies turned strange, and that was months after the tower had fallen.
Everybody roll a DC 17. Let's call it investigation, I think. No, just straight in. Sorry. DC 12, but just straight intelligence. No skills attached.
Oh, come on, that's pretty good for a straight intelligence roll with like not a lot of add-ons.
That's true. Peach, no.
I'm
Bad
so
roll, gang.
I'm surprised for Ez. Y'all, Araya
I
gets to be the smart one tonight.
wrong.
I rolled real bad, gang.
I rolled so bad. Did you not see mine?
Yeah, but you were busy tearing down the Wanderlust.
Get it up. Araya, it's you that recalls. On the morning that. God, I hope you're in town. On the morning that the fabricators and the givers and the mayor reported that magic stopped working, there had been a tremendous sound that came from the north. And that was the first day that the sunrise was a different color than it had ever been before. And this was months after the tower first fell.
I was in town because I was hiding from the guards after having gotten strange Durgar enchantments stuck to me. No, when it happened, when it first stopped working, that was when the sky changed. That's when the sound from the north. Don't you remember? It was as if everything in that moment, like a ripple from the tower, altered how magic works.
It's entirely feasible that it again. This is all just theory, but theorized by people in these notes that are far more intelligent than I am. But they seem to think that the tower is causing the changing the weave of magic somehow in our world, and that something like that wouldn't happen necessarily immediately upon the tower falling. It could have been slowly changing over time before it eventually did finally all snap that day.
So, like something that was building up until it finally snapped that day and then changed? You don't think that it was how I have seen it? The Angel of Doors responded the last time we were in a space, and you tried.
The I can explain that, and it's similar, I think, to almost what happened here.
Yeah,
In
but
the
I
time that
think
we were, go ahead.
that it's something that the angel has done. That they are too much to be perceived on our plane, and so them turning the key against this magic in our world was represented by the sky and the sound. There's so many stories of angels heralding with trumpets. It's I think it is very specifically a being that has shut it down. I don't think it's that magic has changed.
I don't. The details about the angel are still unknown to us. That Silas person, he had mentioned something about the angel sensing tears and moving to close them, right? So I don't know why it would be closing the tears or why it would be attacking people, causing the tears necessarily. But I think that we almost summed it here by accident because um, when we first almost summoned it back when I had used that rope trick spell um, in that space where we tried to get away from the spider, I had cast identify at the time. I had learned and copied the spell from a scroll into my book, and I casted it on some of the items that we had gotten from Mirwood. The spell failed, but I could sense it failing. I had another spell up that allowed me to see it failing, and I could see that the failure of the magic released in a explosion that traveled beyond the dimensions of that rope trick spell, beyond the pocket dimension that we were in. And so by that spell failing in our pocket dimension, I believe that I essentially by accident sent out a signal from our dimension into wherever the angel of doors is, and that's how it found us and started to break into our rope trick spell before I cast it away. The same thing nearly happened just now when Ava cast that spell to create food and water. That's also a spell I think that has been altered by the White Tower falling. And because we were casting that in another pocket dimension, and Peach, um your mini wanderlust, that itself serves as a sort of pocket dimension. That was also us nearly summoning the Angel of Doors to us. But because you broke the spell, we broke the connection between the angel and us, not allowing it to find us. So
So, do we need to be worried about this thing ripping a hole through space and time and coming through the wallets? We
I
like
don't think so. I don't think so. I
I never saw it come by without something drawing it there.
exactly, yes. Based on what Silas had yelled at us and our own experience twice now with the Angel of Doors nearly finding us, I believe that the only way that we can summon it is by sending out some kind of signal from a pocket dimension.
And I do not think, even though it makes sense that the angel and the tower are linked, I do not think that everything that the angel does, or how should I put it? I think the tower must have an effect outside of just having the angel, bringing the angel. Because I am remembering now, after I died, I saw the tower, and that doesn't make sense because even in my worlds, or in my other, the one where I grew up and I didn't die, it only fell a year ago. So something about that is strange. And maybe it's that plane or whatever it is. Maybe that is the one where time is everything or nothing. But it was definitely present when I showed up there.
Are you talking about that place that we first came across you with Silas?
Yes. Well, there are two spaces. It's sort of complicated. But I showed up in one, fell into the other, and then we came back to the ones where the worlds are shattered and cast across each other.
Excellent. Look, I was missing myself for a whole chunk of that all. Can you explain it to me like I'm 5?
I'm not sure I can because I'm not entirely sure I understand it myself. But I think there is a place where the people who die are supposed to go. A sort of holding cell, you might say, between this life and whatever comes next. And then there is a place where all the worlds and things that have broken and are beyond repair, where you can see places and possibilities and links to all of these worlds, and they're all tumbled together. That's what Silas called the place between. Pale Lands is the one where I showed up and it was empty except for him. And that was the place that's supposed to be the holding cell.
Everyone roll religion.
My best thing.
I know who's gonna be good at this.
Well, with a +9 and I got a 13. Good God. Well, I was due because
Yes.
Oh wait, wait. I have
Wow,
a
that is
if it's
perfect.
a failed skill roll, I get to roll again because of frickin' Under the Maiden's Eye. So
Well, shockingly, you're still the highest. So,
if it's not a success scenario, though, I can roll again because I have Maiden's Guidance. Shit.
no, you're fine. Yeah, well, surprisingly,
But Chris,
but not
she only remembers
surprisingly.
it in the form of a nursery rhyme. That's
Right. Araya, certainly in your studies, you have come across stories that are very similar to what Ishtalan is describing. Maybe just framed in a simpler, more academic way, less built from experience. That there is a place where it's said that the souls of the dead go. It's called the Pale, and it is resided over by, in the old stories, a god of death and transition called the Raven Queen. And what Ishnan just described was, for some, I guess, some clarity, is that when she died, there was no one there in the Pale. No other souls, no dead, no Raven Queen.
Thank you for clarifying that. That is.
Well, Ray is the only one who knows.
Okay. Ishlon, it's, I've been looking for signs of gods and goddesses this entire time that we've left our lands because I think that they're the only ones that can help us. But from the sounds of it, the Pale Land where you were has no god there, as they're meant to be. They're meant to be there. They're meant to guide the spirits. They're meant to take the souls and put them where they need to go next. And sometimes that's back here. There's no one there, but then there's no souls either. There's an order to things. There's what's right, and there's what we believe, and it's more than just belief. They're meant to help us, and there's no one.
Well, there was Silas, but he was very annoyed about it.
I would be hard-pressed to call Silas a god.
Like he used the word god, he called her a raven bitch.
That sounds like a personal experience but that's actually a good sign. That means that the Raven Queen was there. That he met her. Oh gosh, what would that even be like? I wish I could ask him. But you never met the Raven Queen when you were dead.
No,
That
there was no one there except for him.
But
And
then
he was
what?
very surprised to see me.
I imagine so, because what is it about your soul that you weren't sent to where the other souls seem to have gone to? Where have
Probably
the
too
other
naughty.
souls gone? Which is hopeful, because then that means that maybe Shalati's soul is held in kind like yours.
Everything you told me about her so far, she doesn't sound like the naughty sort.
Well, I think that if there is no one to enforce the laws, she's not breaking the laws, right?
Nonetheless, everyone,
Oh, yes.
this is why we need to wrap up what we're doing here. Don't forget that the whole reason that we came to this village was to go to the stone tower to find the other half of these notes that we'd first found in Megrun's shop. To those letters, those notes that we'd found mentioned a device that was designed, built to prevent exactly what we're dealing with right now. That was why we were heading to the stone tower, and we've been completely sidetracked with whatever these ruins are. So let's
You
wrap this up and get to the stone tower as soon as we can.
Don't you think a
this is a
village... I think that a village that's grown in the shadow of a stone tower with answers to interdimensional rifts and that happens to be clearly made for us is no happenstance. I think it's meant. I think it's because of its
Well-
proximity to the tower that this exists. And there's answers, there's secrets.
Maybe, but we're not gonna find him if we just stand around here, so let's check out the next one, and maybe everyone will be happy.
Yeah,
Souls!
let's keep going till we're done. Let's finish this out, and then we'll go to the tower and we'll fix it all.
Is it strange that I'm sad that there's no more puzzles meant for me?
And sips audibly at his tea. Never had the puzzle.
Was
Well,
there a
maybe it's at
story
the
of a Fane in the stories, or like a
helpful translator tap because none of the
Fane?
heroes can speak Dwarven.
a dear little friend.
Neat. Maybe in days to come.
Ishtalan pats Fane on the shoulder comfortingly. If it makes you feel better, I don't think there will be one for me either.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go. Let's see what's behind the next one. Should be. She looks around. Me or you? She says to Echelon. Everyone
you.
else. Hmm.
Oh yeah, you were asleep by the time I came back. Did you like my flower?
Oh.
It wasn't my flower, actually. It's kind of your flower.
Oh. 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 Yeah. She's still a little confused. It was nice. Thank you.
So that if you're trying to make food like they gave her, it seems like there's a lot of food. You know what? Maybe we just go down there and we eat breakfast there, because there were things that looked kind of tasty.
Oh, you've already been?
Yes, I went last night.
Oh. So no traps or anything. That's great.
What? I did not set foot inside. I just looked and grabbed a plant.
Oh, okay. Well, if it's supposed to be for me, I mean, I'm all sunshine and rainbows, so let's go and I'm sure it'll be fine.
To the north of you, there's a door that is open.
Well, should I go? Yeah, I'll go first. If it's for me, well, let's figure it out, I guess, or something. I don't know. Let's go.
Right. Unless there are any arguments, down the stone stairs you go.
Did I figure out anything with those potions? I'll just put them back up, but...
Oh, the ones that you could not
Yeah.
identify?
Yeah, do I need to... Is it just one of those things I'll have to use it to identify it? That's fine if it is. I was just curious.
How would you... kind of give me the slightest idea of how you might have tested such a thing?
Using a couple of different plants from around the room? No, that wouldn't make sense because I don't know the plants. I think the plants are unusual. Nope, never mind. She just pondered on it. I can't think of a scientific test that we would use using the resources that we have. And
Well, you guys have a lot of materials, so like you've got reagents in your supply.
oh, okay. All right. In that case, yeah, she just uses a combination of some various sort of plants, and understanding how different ones sort of react, she just tries like a small drop of part of it on a couple of different plants that are used in as a sort of litmus test. She would use something different, more scientific, if she was in a lab, but yeah, she's using what she's got available.
I'm gonna roll DC 25 herbalism.
All right, will do.
Or
Chris, did you have something?
Oh, I think while she's doing it, that Ishalon is conducting her own experience now that there are other people here who can pick her up if she dies. Again, she's like picking tiny pieces of leaf off and like rubbing against her skin and then tasting it, and doing this for the different plants around.
Just stealing them from Ava.
Sorry, Roll20 sometimes resets stuff, so you have to like just put the numbers back in it. In the anyway, I'll roll it.
Hmm.
FK
24.
Wait, didn't somebody get guidance? Who got guidance?
Guidance was not used. It also can't be used for long-term sort of things like this. However, the DC does drop by 1. So after, the next day that you try it, DC would be 24 instead of 25.
All right, cool. Feel like I'm getting close, but have no idea. Moving on.
Okay. And then, sort of in retrospective, Michelin, you said you were tasting some little plants.
Sorry, I totally misunderstood what was going on.
Oh, okay.
Reserve all of that for when we actually get down to the room down below and there's all these different plants.
Okay. Down the stairs, the winding stairs you go.
Casey walks next to Esmond down the stairs, and it's like, I mean, who's to say a tower has to go up into the sky?
Esmond's AFK.
No.
So am I.
This feels like Candy Crush Dwarven Edition.
He's back. You said Esmond. What do you need? He's here.
Okay. Casey was saying something to Esmond.
No, it's just an offhand comment. Everyone hears it, though. As they're descending these stairs, Casey says, who says the tower has to go up into the sky?
Literally everyone, Casey Feldspar. Otherwise, it's a goddamn tunnel or a hole or some kind of something. A basement.
I don't want to go into a well again.
Towers go up.
Well, stranger things have happened besides a tower going down.
As you reach the bottom of the stairs, it spills onto a landing of a room much like you've seen before. Though, just like the others, the details of this one are different. The dimensions are largely the same, and there are some small cracks in the walls. There's nothing large enough for even a small creature to fit through. But what you see before you is a sprawling, vibrant, overgrown garden. You might almost describe it as a farm or a field. There are luminous plants, strange things you've never seen, enormous mushrooms overspilling what seem to be the stone planters of this place, as though this place has been allowed to grow unchecked, untouched for a long time. Occasionally you see like the little buzzing and glowing insect flitter down from one of the cracks in the ceiling or the wall, playing amongst the many plants. You see another flying insect covered now in glowing pollen of some kind flutter off and through one of the cracks in the walls.
Ooh.
Inishalon, if I remember correctly, had already given you another detail about the room.
Which was?
That on the ceiling of the room is a large circle, very subtly engraved into the ceiling itself, that almost spans the entire width of the room.
Going for light. No, I think when they get down there, she points out the diagram, essentially, on the ceiling, and then points toward the puzzle or the riddle written in common toward the far end of the room.
Far end of the room, you do see a plaque above the northern door. The scent in this room is quite fragrant, and you do see that there seem to be root vegetables and fruits and things growing in this room. There are big orange gourds and green things, and the stuff that's things you've never seen before, slightly aglow. You realize that the bounty of this place is tremendous. This could feed a lot of people.
Oh, wow. Maybe you guys could just, like, go on to the next one without me, and I'm just gonna make a few notes here. She says, like, walking around the plants, just utterly intrigued by all of them, sort of touching different ones that she, and trying to, as best she can, identify what something is, or what it may have been, or a close relative. She's just enamored by all of the different plants in the room.
Yeah, so Ava goes to start inspecting plants with some glee. What is everyone else doing?
Esmond is keeping an eye out for traps or loose tiles in the floor. He's going to make his way towards the door in the north, and he wants to investigate it to see what the mechanisms for opening it appear to be, and see how it relates to the room.
Sure, yeah. You move carefully north across the room, keeping an eye out for loose tiles or something strange. Give me some idea of the path that you take.
I mean, he would have just taken the path straight towards it, but he would have kind of gone in almost a serpentine fashion, um, just as a precautionary measure, and again, just keeping an eye out for like any kind of traps, like any loose tiles, anything that could set whatever off in this space.
As you move your way northward carefully, what's everyone else doing?
Everyone's doing something similar. She is keeping an eye on the plants to see if any of them end up looking carnivorous or are about to shoot anything at them. But when she sees one that looks particularly berry-like, she also can't resist reaching out and plucking it to try it.
Snatch a little berry in your mouth. There was a movie about that. Pan's Labyrinth. Casey.
She has had breakfast.
Look what happened to breakfast.
I made some grits. They tasted weird, but were edible.
Grits with a side of interdimensional monster. Casey kind of takes you in the room and says, well, this room was made for you, Doc. And kind of looks to her in anticipation of what she's going to do.
Yeah, she goes, oh, yeah. She looks around the room a little bit, and then her eyes sort of fixate back on the plants, and she's like, I will, I'm thinking about it. And she goes back to studying the different sort of plants she's looking at.
Yeah, Peach, Rhea, just generally, kind of what do you guys do? If you don't have anything in mind, you can just bang on it.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna hover over Fane's shoulder and write down on paper whatever dwarven stuff he might interpret from those dwarven tablets, I assume, that are on the way up facing.
Yes, on the southern side of the room, there are tablets that are written in Dwarven, and Fane has moved to those, and he's studying. Peach, what are you up to?
Peach would just be quietly following Doc a few steps behind. Doc would know that she's there to help and assist, but she wouldn't be like pushing or prodding or doing anything otherwise. She was there to be the girl Friday.
You were getting a lesson whether or not you want it, although it's not really being taught towards you. It's more of seeming to be for her own excitement as she points out plants and describes what they're similar to. Like, oh my gosh, hey, this one had, look, see, this one has like 5 different leaves on this, just only on the south side, and then on the north side it has 4.
Hang on there, Ava. And Peach will shuffle in her bag for a second and pull out one of her notebooks. Let me write it all down. If we're discovering new things, we might as well keep a record of it all. And she will start to kind of take notes along what Ava is saying.
I forgot to mention, I'm leaving Zephyrus behind with Aurea, and he he is perched on top of one of your horns, Aurea, but he is actively like scanning the space for anything that pops up.
He's my little surveillance bird.
Is that real?
He's all of our surveillance bird.
I give him a scritch.
Distract him. He has a job to do.
Oh, as if shaken out of a reverie a little bit, she just sort of looks around and once again remembering sort of what they're doing and what she should be focused on. And she looks back at the plants again, sort of loses concentration, but then tears her eyes away from it long enough to be like, what is it the dwarven tablets say?
These are talking about the it seems to be the management of the keeping plants and the food and the growing, but it's not like the ones above. They seem to be about being down here.
You mean just managing the plants down here?
Hey, it seems to be a guide for the growing and needs of the water. And
Can you just read the lines?
one doesn't. It's not quite like that, but this one here. This one's about these mushrooms are. This is light, and this is growth. Wait, over here. This one says something. Oh, this one's different. This one's talking about Oh, this is talking about plants in a time when the sky was filled with fire. No, not fire. Light.
The sky
A torch
was
in the
filled-
sky.
A what in the sky?
Torch. Oh, wait. Could be an old word for the sun. Oh, it's just describing that out. Oh, in the world before, there was the sun in the sky that made the plants grow.
Well, yeah. Wait, Chris, out of character.
Sure.
Do we know the ancient histories of like the world not having light?
I think it's just a
Yes.
metaphor.
Well, yeah. I mean, assuming you studied in Gilgan.
No.
Wait. So, wait. Okay. So if we put it together, each of the different layers mentions something about society and some structure that you've carried with you. And they're written in Dwarven. And this is referencing, and it's been here thousands of years, or at least something like that. So this place may have existed during the dark times, and it was like a shelter of some kind for the dwarves.
Yeah, that would make sense. That are hidden deep in the ground, living in a place like this, a kingdom below. This is
Okay.
where the old olds lived.
Okay, yeah, and then that explains, and the legends, or I guess the history, I don't know. I feel like there'd be a person who could differentiate that better than I could, but when it was dark, they couldn't use light because people would eat it. So they're safe here, but if they can't leave, then that's why there's that hole for the other ones that they sent the other ones down, the ones they would exile. Like that was
Well,
yeah, like they didn't have a jail, so like, but they had to have some way to enforce laws, so they would, if someone couldn't fit in with the society, they would just send them down.
Awfully harsh. Well,
Also, Doc, you said this all seems mostly edible. How were those, those folks who came at us? They were all starving and emaciated. They skin and bones. Why
Well,
weren't they eating this all?
they don't have access to this room.
Yeah, remember we had to go down these
Oh,
different
right.
layers. Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. Kate forgot. Oh, God,
Ava,
yeah.
the
Couldn't even get here.
the dwarven usually doesn't give you any secrets for figuring out what puzzle, how to open the door.
Well,
They
then
don't
why
have-
would some version of ourselves have locked this all away from them? We kept food from starving people.
Well, I know. I think that there's maybe that this temple existed for dwarven purposes as a stepping into the light, and I think that there was a part of the temple repurposed to hide a secret that only we could find on our way down. I don't think that we were denying anyone anything. I think that this was a good place that no one would know about to hide whatever it is that we need to know.
Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Okay, wait, no. So, if they came up from the ground, okay, let's say they lived here. They lived here for a while, and then they came up to the surface, and then they would only want. I got this. I don't know why this would be, but it would make sense if the top of it became a temple. Temples would be a sacred place, and only certain people would be allowed, and so then that would restrict access to all the things that are down here. And then over time, the only people that would know of this existence would be the people who managed the temple. And then maybe over time, it was even lost to them. So they were living above the secret without even knowing it. I still don't understand why, even if that's true, why there's, like you guys said, the other plaques that are newer. I don't know why that makes any sense.
You mean
It's
the
all ju-
ones that lead us deeper, or the
Yeah.
door? Well, I think this is a two-purpose place, and I think what herbs go into like a healing potion, Ava?
Oh gosh, there's different kinds.
Well, are any of them here, or could be here, or
I'm just gonna look around.
Roll herbalism.
can I also? Because I'm thinking
Yes,
about
yeah. If you're capable, yeah, that's.
it was my toolkit. Solid 12.
Yeah.
It's not great.
Yeah. Araya, you're looking around and you see some promise, but Ava, immediately you're like, oh, well, this broadleaf plant, it's not quite the same as the one on the surface, but it seems to be maybe close enough in structure that it could be a substitute. So, yeah, you quickly realize, with your 25, that a lot of the plants in this room could be substitute reagents for spells. And so, yeah, there are magical reagents for herbalism all throughout this room.
Wow.
Well, what's the far door then, maybe? Because the keyhole to Esmond's door was just for Zephyrus to fit inside, but maybe the keyhole to your door is different.
Yeah. As you guys are having that thought, slight quick interruption. Esmond and Shalon, as you are traveling north, looking out for traps, please roll a perception ability check. Ooh, Esmond 22. As you're moving north, you're just about to step on the tile ahead of you and you realize it's slightly askew.
I step around it and point it out to Ishtalon.
Mom pulls out a piece of chalk and draws a big X. Well, she just goes. I think she's gonna try and figure out if it's pressure activated in that way before like trying to mark something to warn people to stay off of it.
Okay. So interesting. Yeah, as you peer closer, you guys have already noticed this tile is askew. Roll another perception check.
My goodness.
With a 30 perception looking closely. Yeah. With a 30 perception looking closely, you can see that the tile's definitely not uniform with the ones around it. But you're not sure of what mechanism it's like. Yeah, there's no way to tell the mechanism from just looking at it.
Energies has been activated, and so she sort of waves Esmond back a little bit, like gestures for him to take a few steps back, and then she's going to take an arrow and like should try and lift the edge of the tile.
Oh. Ooh, okay. Please roll sleight of hand as you move to lift the tile.
Can I give myself guidance on this?
Yes.
Just like, all right, just like when, just like he taught you. Okay, and that will be the guidance. Oh, I actually do I have. Well, I'm going to use first of all.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, good.
Bit of cunning recovery. Okay.
I'll just re-roll this without guidance and use that one from before. Okay, so it's a 17. She for a minute she's about to drop the arrow and then catches it again.
With a 17, you slowly lift the tile. You realize, it's just a loose tile.
D&D sucks. This game blows.
It was a plant.
The perception check was so high, you just noticed that the tiles were not laid right.
That's great. I want to know what catastrophe could have happened with that one, though. I'm just so curious. It wasn't a trap, but now it is.
She starts an earthquake.
Yeah.
She trips and falls and then accidentally stabs herself with her own arrow.
Cut yourself.
It'll be like the beginning of the
Not
Mummy.
again!
You'll stagger backwards into the plants, and even though you'd think they'd be rooted down, they start falling over like domino bookshelves.
Yes. Yeah, and so Anise maybe moves through you as you realize, this is not a trap. This is just a loose tile.
She makes no noise of disgust and just tosses the tile behind her without looking. Frisbee.
Esmond, dexterity saving throw.
Fuck you. God. Dang it. All right. Hold on.
I love D&D.
Bam! With the clay tile. Hits the ground. Shatters.
Hey, don't break my room.
Why didn't you just put it back?
Oh, sorry. Why didn't you move out of the way?
Why did you not just put it back?
Because it's annoying me.
How?
By not being what I expected it to be.
Faint.
It's a lot of fuss over nothing.
There's a faint scrape and a slight purple bruise that starts to form on Esmond's forehead.
He's delicate!
However, you do reach the other side of the room, almost unscathed.
Okay.
And what you find there is a stone tablet, much like you have seen before. Should be visible to you all as a pop-up in Roll20.
Yeah, there was something about the yellow orb. Couldn't remember why, though.
If anyone would care to, they can read it aloud.
I'll read it this time. Eyes that see and ears that hear, perhaps too much. Loss felt and dealt, strength carries on, but not a crutch. A healer's touch and a gardener's bond, lily held beside. A quiet wish, what's broken to fix, starlight shines inside. The golden sphere from where unclear, let it roll. The quiet path, no room for wrath, it takes a toll. Yeah, Esmond's gonna move to the door after reading that and just kind of start looking over the door, either for like some kind of mechanism that would allow it to open, or like any slots or divots against the wall or the ceiling immediately around it to open it.
Just make a perception check.
Not
Or
investigation.
should I help?
Yeah, you can help. Yeah, just perception. I like to use perception for seeing and noticing things, investigation for connecting information and making use of it.
Got
I think she's going to
Oh, wait,
supervise, so she
was-
will. Yeah, so like basically in the form of the help, is just going to be her sending maybe like, hey, what about that thing? That? No, that's nothing. Oh, you missed the spot.
Oh yeah, I did miss that spot. You're right. Let me roll again. Oh my god, I'm rolling bad tonight.
Slightly better. Yeah, as you examine the door, running your fingers along it, searching for seams, it's like some of the other ones you've encountered. There doesn't seem to be any sort of mechanism that's at least obvious to you by which you would open this door.
Did you hear that, Doc?
I heard the reading.
Yeah, so what do you think?
I don't know, she says, looking around the room. I feel like, it's either the plants or that thing. She points towards the circle that you've described a couple times, Chris, but for some reason I can't picture it. I'm sorry, can you describe again?
There's just a circle very faintly engraved into the ceiling, like it should be super easy to miss. That is basically like it's a circle that essentially fills the room, but it is like a perfect circle. It's on the ceiling.
Well, I've got. Let me walk it off. She's gonna measure the room, both the room itself and also she's gonna measure, like the plants here from the circle. Yeah, it's the circle itself. She's gonna measure the distance of the circle.
Okay, yeah. The circle is. I can actually draw it for you.
It's a little circle.
Interesting. Yeah, basically fills the wall. It's my thing is slightly off center, but it is essentially 40 feet in radius.
All right. I can't think of anything that's gonna fill that perfect. Like to match it, I wouldn't think.
It's a path, right? There was path.
Maybe.
A star-like kind of thing, right? Do you need to maybe glow up?
I don't really glow up, but I can't think of anything I can do that affects anything. It's either that, how about this? Let's just take a minute here and you guys study the architecture and I'll try to figure out some of these plants. I want to take some samples and just keep them as some extra reagents anyway. And then if I don't see anything with the plants, well, maybe you'll have some luck with the architecture or vice versa.
Or the golden sphere here. Maybe one of these plants is looking, or something in the room. And Islan's gonna go up and down the aisles, looking for something that looks orbular.
As you move through the room looking at plants, I guess there are two that stand out to you as you're looking for orbs. One of them, there are the sort of there are the larger mushrooms, two different varieties. One seemed to be red and one seemed to be like a teal color, and the teal ones are slightly luminous. They're giving off some light. You also find some large orange gourds in the room. Some of them almost, some of them as large as your head, some of them even larger than that.
Okay. Taking small pieces of the different ones, using some shears that she sort of keeps on her. All right, I'm gonna look at some stuff to see if I can have any insight. Throw out ideas, anyone who's interested.
Yeah.
I think you need to the useful reagents and find a path within it. So go for reagent. Maybe there's steps. Sorry, I'm getting slowly more stepped up. Maybe there's steps that you take and the path is a key to unlock the thing, or maybe you squish the plants into a keyhole and it's the right plants and it magically senses the plants.
Rhea,
I'm gonna go blow it.
you sound
Every word starts going.
It's because my nose is just filling. I'll be right back.
What you realize is that
She's
Araya is allergic to the
Yes!
underground plants.
Oh no, her one weakness.
Every time she sneezes, a little flame. Actually, it just also shoots.
Oh,
A little
that's
blue
so
flame.
cute.
I was just gonna say that's adorable.
GM, how high above us is this circle? Like how high is the ceiling?
The ceiling in this room is about 20 feet. Yeah, no, Araya, I don't know if you heard. We decided that Araya, the character, is allergic to some of the plants that grow here underground, so it can be in character.
I just out of character. Is so stuffed up. Just
In character too.
in character. She's just like, oh. She slowly puts the robe stuff over her nose.
All right, Ava's gonna try to pick up the piece of clay that was used to assault Esmond with, and she's gonna cast light on it and sort of start seeing if it has any effect on some of the plants, like sort of shine on it, because she's realizing that these plants were intended to grow underground, and there's probably very little sunlight down here. Maybe light has something to do with it.
Yeah, it's a white light blooms out from the tile that you're holding. You see that some of the insects in the room, they seem interested and start to kind of congregate kind of in your area. Some of the plants kind of shrink away kind of from the light. But nothing major seems to happen.
Okay.
Doc, would you be able to do that on the big dish above us?
I guess if I could get up there, or, well, I can do the bigger light that I tried using stupidly on the dwarves, but I don't really want to cast that because she does the thing where she sort of waves the light in the direction of those plants that sort of shrink away and pulls it back. She's like, because I don't know if all these...
Roll nature, kind of as you're doing that experiment. Ooh. Yeah, I think you can tell as you kind of move the light closer and some of them kind of shrink away a little bit and fold up. It's not hurting them. It's just in the maybe it's having some effect on their cycle. You know.
Okay, well, I guess it's not hurting.
I can lift you up.
How tall is the ceiling?
About 20 feet.
I mean, it gets me half the way there.
Okay, yeah. Esmond will approach you, and as he does, sparks of electricity begin to like apparate and like shock around your feet as the heat of the electricity becomes more so, and wind begins to kind of rush up from beneath you. Esmond walks over, taps your shoulder, and you begin to levitate upwards towards the dish.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
You're fine. You're not going to fall unless I decide that you're going to.
That's comforting. All right, she awkwardly floats up towards the ceiling. When do I stop?
Just say when.
She approaches the ceiling and definitely says when. Just a little too late, so her face is just a little bit against the wall.
I will add with a natural 20. We'll say you realize that some of the glowing broadleaf things which are also magical reagents, are shying kind of away from the light. It's only a change in color, actually, but like the large orange gourds, for example, seem to be reacting like maybe positively to it. They seem to be richer in color, something like that.
Okay. But from that, she discerns that light does not appear to be harmful to them, which is the most important takeaway. Okay. All right, yeah, so reaching the ceiling, she pushes up against there and it's like, has Esmond lower her just a little bit. Getting into a slightly better position, she takes the piece of tile and sort of, without thinking, seems to pocket it into the same bag as the alchemist supplies, and then tries to cast light on the top of the sphere.
So when you get up there, what you're seeing is that there is a thin circle very subtly engraved into the ceiling. As you weave the magic and try to cast the light spell, it's too large an object. The magic gets diffused so much that it has no effect. Like, it's just too big.
Okay, I can do a bigger one, but I don't have to be up here for it.
But no, do it from up there.
I would be like right next to it. It'll blind me.
But with like sparkles.
All right. Wait, actually, you guys are probably right. I was thinking of something totally different. All right. And she tries casting her magic to, make her glow just a little bit.
Yeah, what does that
do? It is an aspect of... Apologize. So this is the same form she typically uses in order to boost her healing magic. There are a variety of them, but yeah, she's just gonna do the one that boosts up so that she can try to chalice. So a little small light sort of changes around her. She does this at the beginning of every fight. You've seen her do it, but...
Okay. And so this is 10-foot radius, 10-foot dim light?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So and I know you've done it before, but since the focus is on you and are you levitating up in the air right now? Is this happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's sort of standing, imagine like against a black backdrop, and the camera kind of swooshes in around her as her clothes change, as light starts from starts from her boots and goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, specifically, I want to reiterate that there are shots of electricity, like spark, like small lightning bolts, like shocking around at your feet, and wind is like brushing all around you. So your hair is wild right now.
And so yeah, as you spin and sparkles kind of twirl around you, light spreads out in all directions, and you see it has increased. Well, I should say the area increases as more plants kind of shrink away, and some of them seem to saturate more in color, seeming to enjoy the light, presumably. However, as pleasant as it is, nothing seems to. There doesn't seem to be any effect outside of the plants reacting to it.
All right. It seems to them just making some of the plants happy and some of them grumpy.
Well, Ava, from up there, do you see any plants that are not nice? Like, you said that there were some good ones, and I could tell that some of these are useful, but are some of them hurtful? Can you tell the difference?
Just with that natural one you got earlier, there probably are some poisonous plants in this room. If they were to be ingested, they might not be good for you. They might be okay for dwarves.
It's all just a matter of quantity, really. I mean, there are plants that can be used in a harmful way, but even some of the ones that are helpful, if too much is taken.
What if we draw it all out and you see a path that is the good ones and then a path?
Okay, she'll look for a pattern.
Okay, everybody roll investigation. Since you're up high, Ava, you have advantage.
Everybody?
is gonna write it on paper and try to be a helper.
Yeah, presumably, with Array shouting that out, everyone can look around if they're not otherwise distracted.
I wrote it on paper, but I don't understand what any of it means. Son of a biscuit.
Yes! This is perfect.
I'm so sorry. Today, you know what? Get these out of your system now.
So look, it is. Esmond, you're starting to formulate a thought and you realize something, but it's Casey. You realize it first. Just like the rest of life, there's no pattern here.
You look great up there, Doc.
Thank you.
You just need to be brighter. More. Just bigger. There's not a path. There's no pattern. Just
I feel like
more.
this is the 90s movie rom-com thing where Ava gets like the transformation and then she's suddenly revealed to be a pretty girl. And then Casey's 20, natural 20 is him realizing that.
Wait,
It's
Doc,
like,
Doc, are you
Takes
wearing
your
your glasses?
glasses.
Take your
Yeah.
glasses off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Your hair's pulled back, maybe.
All the wind just whipped it out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know if it has anything to do with plants or maybe we're looking in the wrong direction, but Esmond, bring me back down.
It's to do with
You
plants.
are
There's
lowered.
only plants in your puzzle. Your puzzle is plants.
I mean, there are
The thingy, the rhyme, it doesn't talk about plants themselves. It says a gardener's bond. I guess it says lily, but there's no lilies here. Maybe our sister was supposed to be here?
hope not.
Don't tell Lily that.
What about the golden sphere? Is there a
All
plant
right.
that looks like
Yeah,
that?
I still can't figure that one. There's orange spheres. Maybe the writer of this was kind of colorful.
As the glow fades from you, those insects that were spiraling around you beautifully and glowing, they'll kind of disperse back and start just going back to the plants that they're interested in. Some of them flying up and out of the room through the cracks in the wall that seem to be there as a result of earth shakes.
Did any of those insects look like a small golden ball with like wings that flutter really fast?
Well, there was maybe one beetle. It's mostly green, but there's maybe a slight golden hue in the right light.
All right. I'll try a really big light. Here. She decides on the ground. All right. Might
But
not
your
want to.
puzzle doesn't say anything about a light.
Maybe you need to be like looking and hearing things?
Yeah,
Did you listen
it's
to like the walls?
Take off your mask and really think and look.
All right. All right. Well, and she takes the mask, or puts it down, looking around, breathes in the scent of all the different plants and the underground and the earth. Tries to keep her eyes opened, her hearing just a little bit more. She's like, wait, everyone just stop doing anything, I guess. And lets the room, once it settles in, tries to listen through the silence and see what she can perceive.
So with the mask taken away, all of the details of what's happening in this room are almost overwhelming. You just see the myriad life of all of these insects, bioluminescent, crawling on the different plants, eating, feasting, an entire world of their own that's been closed off from everyone for so long. All the concerns of the world and all the conflicts of the deep and the surface don't have any presence here. You see the slow, painfully slow turning and shifting of the leaves as these plants all seem to sway to some unseen wind. I'm actually going to give you a little bit more on your nature roll from earlier. You realize as you watch, and you watch the silent little symphony of all of these insects and these plants, you realize If these plants have been down here all this time, no light, you realize that it's not light that they use to grow. And you have just a spark of a thought, something you read once, perhaps in a book. These plants, they grow in the same way that plants on the surface drink in the sunlight. They drink in the ambient magic, the weave.
She sort of like looks around and closes. She starts with her eyes closed, sort of listening, focused on the hearing and the smells, and sort of opens her eyes and looks around, allowing that to be taken in. And as the thought sort of dawns on her, she sort of walks along and like touches one of the plants on as the spark comes into her mind. She's like, well, they feed off magic. All right, well, let's see, I guess I can try. And she decides to cast a different spell. And she can cast plant growth to make all of them grow very big.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, as you weave the spell, this garden was already overgrown and just wild, untamed growth, but even more vibrant and blooming. The plants increase in size, spilling over into the floor, almost reaching almost all the way across the aisle into the center of the room, and before long it's crowding up on the walls, and vines are spreading upward toward the ceiling, and there's now a much brighter ambient sort of teal glow in this room. All of the plants here look healthy, and the scent grows thick, herbal. There's no change in the room, but the plants seem healthier, larger than ever. The gourds have tripled in size, and all the insects are buzzing around. Apparently.
She looks around a little disappointed for a second, as like feeling her like kind of open one eye afterwards, and a little disappointed. Her shoulders fall. She walks over to the plant, one of the gourds, and she goes, "Well, at least I made you happy for a bit," and pats it. More ideas?
Well, what is the door? What's the key? So the path. Path is a key. Plants that are good and healing. Do you need to maybe make a potion, and that's the thing, and pour it somewhere?
Maybe. Where could I apply something? Is there something on the walls or something?
I'm gonna go look at the door. What if I step on something? I'm gonna go look at the door. Maybe the door has like a thing that makes sense. The last one was a song.
Out of character questions can we ask of stuff that we remember? I mean, like table talk wise. There's no reason you should would know this.
Wild inspiration.
I don't remember. That's right.
Say it again? I didn't hear you.
I don't know if you, the player, don't remember, or if Ava is not remembering.
I, as the player, probably forgot.
Okay. Wasn't there a yellow sphere that Salinger gave you as a result of one of his investigation things that you kept for a while? Like a bronze sphere?
Oh,
I don't know if you would have that with you, though.
yeah, it's the thing you're talking about is there was it's her amulet she wears around her neck. It's a very small golden sphere. Yeah, and it is her the focus for her channel divinity. It was discovered with Sal, washed up on shore. But
Do you remember Sal, Iva?
it's interesting. I think whenever she uses her to use channel divinity, there's like a spark of something where she almost remembers somebody, but otherwise she just remembers finding it in the cat that she had to basically per- get out of in a surgical way.
Ooh, yeah, I like that.
Then when Ava had done her whole starry transformation, spinning around, light focus, everyone oohing over her, taking her glasses off, someone notices the sphere around her neck and says, "Wait, that's a yellow sphere. Why don't you just roll it somewhere? I don't know. Roll it down the door?"
And she like looks down at it and she kind of like holds it in her hands a little bit. It's not something she's excited the idea to take off. She seems sort of possessive of it. Where would I use this?
Yeah, holding the sphere in your hand, there's a strange, just like the edge of a memory. Wait, wasn't there someone? Can't remember. But looking at the door, there's no keyhole. There's nothing to interact with. But as you look at it, this golden orb, this brass orb, this is, well, not maybe the source of your magic, but it is related to your magic.
Look up at the diagram or like the circle on the ceiling. Is there anything written on it, or is it just a single line that's all the way around?
Yeah, I think there's something written on it. Let me see if I can post it. I think it's. Let me see. I can't remember.
Are you talking about
post
the orb, or are you talking about the? I think Ishlan's asking about the circle on the ceiling, right?
Yes, yeah, the giant thing.
Um, yeah. Well, now that you have the thought, looking closely, you do see there is some very subtle filigree around the edge of the circle. Let me have everybody roll history.
I was thinking there's filigree. Ishlan clicks her heels together and wades up out of the mass of plants floating up to the ceiling and trying to inspect this filigree, but doesn't ring a bell probably.
So you guys look at it. Maybe trying to peer closer when Ishlan points it out. There, for Esmond and Araya, there's something familiar about it. You've seen it somewhere before, but you can't remember.
I'm gonna
where.
use. I'm gonna use a constellation to allow Esmond to re-roll that.
Okay. Ooh, 22. Yeah, you've seen this before. It was from a book. There was someone big who gave it to you. What was that? Can't remember. No, they loaned it to you. It was very important. It was a loan. You couldn't keep it. Not this one. But it was a book about like the ornamentation and architecture of old temples. This one was related. Is there different gods stories in this book? Is this one? something golden. You remember something about harvest and justice? Dang, so long ago.
I mean, it's all the filigree is vaguely reminiscent of like a story of myths and gods and architecture surrounding some of it, some of the religious aspects of those from long ago. The hunt, the harvest, justice, something gold, something golden about some prospect of one or all of them. I can't recall specifically.
But now, where is she?
Beth, no. I should maybe, you know what? I'll shoot her a message on Discord. Yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Um, balls. I as the player am in getting to a loss here. Shit.
Well, Ava, why don't you stand in the middle and invoke channel divinity? It doesn't hurt to just try a couple harmless things, like nothing that like don't catch everything on fire like Casey would, but just try a couple things that are uniquely you. This is a room made only for you and things that only you can do. So, of that which only you can do, try.
What old story?
What? What'd you say?
I mean, she went all starry and didn't seem to do
I
too
don't think it
much.
has anything to do with light. I think it more has to do with the the healing that is uniquely Ava. I think it's
Well,
the path she walks.
the only thing I can do with this is, I mean, I can't really think of anything because I sort of use this to focus when I was trying to get rid of the undead, and then I sometimes use it for extra focus when I'm healing things, but it doesn't do anything. It just makes the healing really effective.
You know how you can heal a lot of things all at once? I know that you made the plants larger by making the plants larger, but what if it's healing that they need?
Alright, well, she'll try two things. She's gonna first use a pun and try to see if there's any sickness in the area.
Oh, searching for disease. I think you do pick up there are some very minor diseases on some of the plants. I mean, these are wild plants that are growing, right? So that doesn't seem necessarily out of the ordinary and not any really different than you would expect to find on a farm. But overall, they seem to be largely healthy, just, battling a little sickness here and there, one and two.
Yep. I guess there's one more thing I can do, but with this thing, but it just makes it so that a creature would be more susceptible to being hurt, but I don't feel like that's good either. I'm at a loss.
Do you have anything from your sister on your person?
Yeah. Let's see. I'm trying to see the things she has on it.
While Doc is searching through her things, Peach speaks up. The Ram says, let it roll and quiet path? Could we try just rolling your spell thing, the one that Salinger gave you, or you know, you can't remember
I
that
was
proper,
thinking.
but
Playing bulls with it all down the path. Although I suppose that's kind of hard now, she says, looking at the plants that are now growing and binding all across the pavement.
a quiet path. Maybe if you could silently make it move across the whole room. I know that sounds ridiculous, but also like, who knows? Last my room was singing a high note, so who knows?
Maybe as you look down at the brass orb, you realize if you rolled it across the stone, that'd really scratch it up.
Yeah, not gonna do that. Alright, well, that space in the ceiling, did it come to, like, in terms of a circle, it sort of comes together at a point in the ceiling, right?
No, it's not concave, it's flat. It's just lightly engraved into the ceiling.
So it's literally just like a circle. I'm
Just a
sorry,
circle.
I kept thinking of it like a dome instead of a circle. Okay, well, maybe.
That's when I sent you a message in Roll20.
The one is sort of pulling herself across the ceiling around the edge of the circle, poking and prodding at everything to see if there's some kind of hidden catch.
Perception check.
Hey, does anyone remember who Palor is?
Yeah, he's a sun god.
What does it have to do with Ava, though?
I recall it from that book of old myths, gods, religions. Palor, if that's the sun god, what's the puzzle, or what's your riddle say again exactly?
Well, I was gonna try that, but I mean, it didn't seem to have any effect. I guess this is what I was saying. And she's like, and she starts to cast it, realizing, oh right, I didn't tell everyone to look away. And then she's gonna try to cast daylight there towards the center of the room, so it just woof envelops a lot of space.
Okay. Yeah, describe for us describe what it looks like as you cast the daylight spell. I don't know if we've seen this before.
Yeah, you know what? This happens relatively quick, but the same magic sort of starts with her and then again coalesces. But in this case, if you could zoom in on it, it looks like the coalition of small bits of stars starting to spiral together, like it does when a star forms, or a supernova, and then it sort of comes together and then burst out into a little hugely bright ball of light.
Yeah, as soon as the light spills throughout the room, the circle in the ceiling begins to glow. Blinding light spreads out through the room, and all of the bugs go scattering. Some of the plants start ducking to themselves, but all of those large orange orbs or gourds, all of those pumpkins begin to vibrate, and then an arm bursts out of one of them, an arm bursts out of the other. And all the orange gourds, the big pumpkins, and made enormous by Ava's magic, begin to stand up.
No! I was this close to cutting open one of those gourds to have some breakfast.
All right, we're going to take a small break here as I have to make new character sheets for the upgraded Pumpkin Kings.
No, upgraded, Ava!
Well, I was like, you should try some healing spells.
Do you have plant ungrowth?
And the door in the north opens.
Light?
She was awfully nice to that gourd. That should count for something.
All right, let's take a little bit of a break.
I look forward to
stuff.
Peach's pumpkin pie when we're done with this. Cold didn't make me sound all.
I also feel like we are disproportionately girls this time. We should be all be like stupid idiot boys next time.
In one of the
Yeah,
dimensions,
stupid idiot
Araya
boy.
was a boy.
Yeah, you guys should be boys, and then you can catcall all the girls that you want all day.
Kate's into that.
All right, that got me real life blushing. Congratulations, Kevin and Patrick.
Okay. Please.
Oh my
roll
gourd, they're called the
initiative.
Lords of the Harvest.
Maybe they just dance.
This is when we need to bring in the hungry dwarves and just like solve one problem with another. Be like,
Unfortunately.
feast.
It's starting to turn into what's the thing where it's like you bring in the rabbits to eat the things, and then
Oh,
you bring in
yeah.
the cats to eat the rabbits, and bring in the...
Why, oh, why did they swallow a fly? Perhaps they'll die.
Bring in the rabbits to eat the knights. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, roll your initiatives.
The long-awaited sequel to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Yeah!
Excellent.
Esmond has already won.
I'm rolling such dog shit tonight, gang. I'm gonna use a spark and I'm gonna re-roll my initiative.
Yeah. You don't want to be like surprise rounded by a pumpkin.
Great, 11.13. I'm
It's
on
not-
top of it.
Yeah, it's not like a failure.
This is the session that Esmond dies. I can feel it. I'm not killed by a god or an alien. I'm killed by a fucking pumpkin.
Just because I think it'll at least be fun. I just can't help but laugh with this thought. As far as I know, all of the characters, the only ones present for seeing the door locked, and especially magically, is Esmond. And so you're saying Esmond dies is just fantastic. I love that idea, because then after mourning your death and getting through
You
all
love
of this,
the idea of Esmond's death, girl.
we will come back and try to leave, and there's just a door that is magically locked, and we have no idea what's wrong with it or why we can't open it, but we can't.
No, actually, you guys would be able to open it. You would be okay.
Wait, how do we open it?
You just have to be within 5 feet of it.
Oh,
I mean, wouldn't we still have to open it the way that it was opened originally from the other side?
Oh, no, you would have to find the mechanism on the inside of it to open it, yes, but it will still open for y'all. Yes, it is. Yeah, it is designated to open in the presence of those that I decide at the time of casting it. Which,
Nice.
at the time of casting it, was our party, Fane and the mayor.
okay, cool.
You should have probably told us all that before you died tragically in battle.
Yeah, we're gonna himbo it and we're gonna fuck it up.
No one's asked.
All right, you guys ready?
I think so.
Yeah, let's go!
All right.
Let's see what those pumpkins. This is pumpkin friend.
So, yes, as daylight spreads through the room, the large orange pumpkins begin to vibrate. An arm bursts out of one, another, and then another. At the end of each of these arms, you realize they're more like stems. They're more like stalks, and at the end seem to be eyes, orange at their center. Pumpkins they tear free of their roots and begin to float upward.
They float?
They levitate upward, floating freely. Their many eyes looking in all directions. The lords of the harvest have arrived.
Why now?
Alright.
I'm a recoil.
On the ceiling,
This is
right?
horrifying.
Are you still on the ceiling? Moving the ceiling.
Because he was up by the ceiling when, right next to the circle when Ava cast daylight.
Yeah, I like that. Alright. Well, Ishlan, the first turn is yours.
Okay. I think her eyes are still watering from the sunbursts of light, but the sound of these gourds rustling out of and tearing their way out of their bed of plants, of their horticultural bed, has her automatically, reflexively reaching for her bow and arrow. Through watering, squinting, she focuses on the first one. Unfortunately, they were nice enough to separate themselves out from the mass. I guess she's... I don't know. I guess we'll just go for the top one here. And
Casey
that
uses
one.
his reaction, also shielding his eyes from the daylight. No room for wrath. He points vaguely in the direction of the inscription. No wrath.
The door's open, right?
The door is open. The plaque is still visible.
I think it's still on hearing that the door is open, idiot. And she takes aim and focuses. We'll use her bonus action to cast Hunter's Mark on this top one. And this first round always has so much stuff going on. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Advantage. Double advantage. From element accuracy. I think. And she will use one set of sneak attacks with this. And if it hits, I assume at least one of these shots is going to hit at some point. She will also do, well, it's sharpshooter. She will do favored foe. So 21.
So a 21 would hit, but as the arrow flies in, an orange shield surrounds the creature. And the arrow deflects away, hits the ceiling.
I think seeing that, she will shift. Let's see how this works. That might actually be kind of funny. She shifts her attention to the one to the south. As that did not hit, sneak attack, favorite foe did not proc. She will repeat it with the one to the south. Basically everything except for Hunter's Mark. And this one actually also gets ambush predators bonus as well. $16. I think I'm going, well, I think she's going to spend a superiority die on this.
Give it a reroll.
It's not a reroll, it just adds
Yeah.
precision attack. So 16, so 21.
And just like the first, as the arrow flies in, an orange shield deflects the arrow into the nearby wall. reaction of the two on the right have been used.
Yep. And then she shifts again to the last one over there. Oh, sorry. She takes a breath and is action surging. I don't think she'll do anything for this one. But I'm assuming a 13 doesn't hit, and she's going to try again.
As the first arrow flies in, the stalks just move out of the way and hits the wall. Eyes turn in your direction.
Second arrow goes for 22.
Yeah, once again, shield appears. The arrow goes straight down into the ground this time. All three of them have used their reactions.
Cool. And then I think she will. This ceiling is completely flat, right? So.
Yes.
Is there cover in the ground amidst all of the plants?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, it's pretty thick, so at least obscurance, if not like actual cover. Potential obscurance. Just remember that there's more movement penalties.
Yeah. No, I think she's going to end up staying where she is. Also, movement is more difficult right now since she's levitating. She would be pushing against the ceiling, essentially.
Oh, right. Anything else?
So yeah, I think she'll stay. Can I move? Pushing against the ceiling as she is.
The first Lord of the Harvest is going to go.
Sure.
Eyes.
How far would you say that I could move, pushing against the ceiling?
Without a wall to push against.
You like flipped and did the thing that you did with fire.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll say. Yeah, difficult terrain. Without something to push against, probably difficult terrain, we'll say.
I think with that, then she has. Either. Yeah, okay. She's gonna move down over to here. And with her action and bonus action to dash from her second action surge, or from her action surge, and that will get her 20 feet, so 40 feet, and that's it.
Sounds good. First Lord of the Harvest goes, eyes looking in all directions. Some of them whip over to Ishtalan, the direction the arrow had come from. But this one here on the northwestern side, its eyes fix onto Esmond, and it begins to float toward him.
Get him!
There's a closer target. What do you mean it didn't focus on this man? No!
Oh, he's pulling a Jess.
I know, you're
Husband.
breaking the...
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Yeah, Espen, you went so high pitched I can't hear you.
You look just the right amount of spice for their pumpkin.
Spice.
It's Thanksgiving.
He's speechless.
No, very bland.
And you see, writhing tentacles reach outward. This Lord of the Harvest is going to hold its action as it moves toward Casey and as well, mostly towards us.
Maybe he's friendly. It's a hugger. He's a hugger.
Yeah, maybe it's cold. Maybe it senses like the sparky fire stuff down on your side is like a little cold. It just needs to
Casey.
snuggle.
Beat myself.
Casey,
Peach
it's
will
your
use
turn.
Peach will use her reaction to holler to everybody. They hadn't even attacked us yet. Maybe we can just, I don't know, go on through.
Don't you hear the music, Peach? I'm just kidding.
Actually, those pumpkins are pretty big. Does it look like they could actually fit through the door?
They could potentially squeeze, but it would be a tight fit. They might slow them down.
Yeah. Casey gives Ishtalan a look reminiscent of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones from the Temple of Doom when they're in the room with the spikes coming down, and he's like, "We are going to die." As she releases 3 quick arrows at these gourds that all are ineffective. And he sees the other one float north to Esmond and himself, and he kind of glances over at Esmond. I think Peach is right. They're not, the plaque kind of said leave him alone. Maybe we can just go. Doc? Unless you say otherwise, shall we go? And he will start to head north towards Esmond. And I think I'm going to hold my action here. Yeah, he comes up to Esmond and kind of grins over at him. He says, "You don't speak pumpkin, do you?" And I hold my action. It's my turn.
All right. Araya, turn's yours.
Right, walk a path without wrath.
If you try to travel through the plants right now, that's like what?
Quarter speed.
Yeah, 5 feet costs 20. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait,
Are
is
the
there
plants
any
covering
in the
entire
middle?
ground?
What's that?
Aesthetically, they've spread out everywhere, but mechanically, it only creates that actual movement penalty where there are actually plants.
Okay, I'm gonna go in the middle. What if more plants come alive? So 10.
Yeah, you're walking further into the light.
Now I guess the choice is, do I try like a little healing water on it and see if that makes it chill? How about a healing, like just one little of healing water on the guy closest to me. What? I don't know. He's full health regardless. Maybe I'll be like, let me just water the plants. I'm just a simple gardener. I'm gonna just one little healing water on that guy. Yep.
Splash a little healing water into one of the eyes, and it squints up. How much do you heal it for?
Just a 1d6.
Okay.
5. And then whether or not you add my level. It's just, I'm just like, let me pass by without you. Nom-nomming me.
Does it have like red eye before that? All of a sudden it just clears up.
orange eye. Which one are you doing?
The one that's just closest to me.
Okay. All right. Well, you've healed it for 5. If it was missing any hit points, it gained 5.
No, I'm gonna walk the path of no breath. Just gonna heal. Just walk through. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. No,
All right. Yes, the Lord of the Harvest there in the southeast, as it's splashed with a bit of water. The eye like winks, and all the other eyes turn toward Araya. You see the stalks begin to wiggle and dance. It begins to cast a spell. The entire creature vanishes from view.
yeah, I did it wrong.
No, obviously they just left. That's wonderful.
You healed it so good.
Just went back to its own plane of existence.
Y'all, I'm treating this whole situation as a big old puzzle. So
On the northeastern side, stalks begin to twist and writhe and dance. A strange sound begins to come from the Lord of the Harvest. Creature shimmers at the end of its turn. Oh wait, just gonna move. Begins to move toward Esmond and Casey. Floating towards the both of them. And at the end of its turn. It does not vanish. It's still there. And I believe the shield does vanish. It has regained the legendary actions and its reaction. Shield. Shield is gone. Esmond Clockrite, turn is yours.
Oh my gourd. Esmond is going. Oh, that is threatening. Esmond is going to, following Casey's lead, start walking towards the door. 5, 10, 15.
And just to warn you, if you continue any farther, you will leave the threat range.
No, I was stopping there. Yeah. Esmond is going to move back and replying to Casey. No, I can't say I do speak vegetable root. No. And he's going to cast Blink on himself, and that'll be the end of his turn.
Yeah, as you weave the spell and cast Blink, all of the many eyes kind of swivel back and forth, looking at you with interest.
All right, let me roll that d20.
oh God.
Nothing happens. I pee myself. Esmond just announces out. Yeah. They let's just move out if we can, right?
You stare into the eyes of Gord, and the Gord looks back.
Neither of you blink.
May the gourd be with you.
Peach Pine, turn is yours.
Peach is going to, at speed, but not like running, take the dash action and get all the way up there with her friends Casey and Esmond. And as she does so, she's going to say, "Hey, I really think let's just all stay calm and quiet like, and just, I think we can just walk out of here." And she will quietly but quickly move all the way toward her friends. and then we'll hold any other action.
Oh. Ava, your turn.
Abandoned by Peach, Ava begins to begins to also head north. I'm just kidding. Yeah, she's just gonna head north for full movement, and we'll cast. Yeah, you know what? Sanctuary. No, I'm gonna hold my action. Yeah, hold my action. Move north, hold action.
Action hold. Ishla, your turn.
Lon mutters something under her breath, but she's too far away for anyone to hear what that is. And then drops down to the floor, realizing that from how people are moving, that it's not nearly as thick as it looks on this area. And she's going to use basically all of her things to move north. And she ends up there.
All right. In response to your movement, the westernmost gourd is going to use its held action. Wait. It does not. Can't. It uses its reaction. To cast shield, I forgot.
No,
Wait,
it
wait.
had
was
a
the
turn
last
after
turn?
that.
Previous one, yeah. I think at this point
So
they've
the
all had their
shield
turn.
is-
So
Okay, so shield is gone.
Yeah. Chris, I completely forgot about my spell being a bonus action. Is it too late to have cast that? Didn't want to interrupt.
After I've done an enemy's turn.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
So that top right one still has Hunter's Mark on it, and I'm maintaining that for now.
Okay. The one on the far west uses its held action to move closer to Desmond. Floats there above Casey, filling the space above you. You can almost feel a slight vibration as it hovers above you. Some of the eyes look down in your direction.
I know that they're looking at all of us, but it feels like it's targeting me specifically.
Ishlan, anything else on your turn?
No, that's tough.
Right. Turn. The Lord of the Harvest has come. All of its eyes move onto Esmond. Deep, the sound of whales in the deep begin to blow up from it as it begins to cast a spell. One of the stalks reaches out. Some energy flows over you. And the little bruise on your forehead is healed. As I think you have discovered, these creatures mean you no harm. We'll leave initiative.
Yes!
Yay!
I am so stoked I was right.
I do love that they all were like, Ez needs our touch. That's horrifying.
This is the most wounded boy here.
This is amazing.
Let's heal the boy.
That was amazing. Oh my god, these guys.
Awesome. Because it's Duck's Chamber. They'd be healers.
Casey.
But also Doc's Chambers.
Doc's a Gorder.
Still is absolutely still keeping Hunter's Mark on one of them.
Casey straightens up and at the one floating just above him. And he starts to speak a low, rumbling word in Ignan. And this rumbles out into the two floating pumpkins over top of him. Just the one over top of him, and then also Doc, Esmond, and Ishtan as he casts volcanic rumblings.
Leaving me out again. Again.
He left me out too.
I think I can only do 4 proficiency.
No, I
Yeah,
actually
4.
enjoy the role playing without knowing what any of you guys are saying. It's high comedy to me.
So you do not have to share a language in order to be able to communicate. But they have to be able to speak a language.
Okay.
And then the gourd hears in its head. This is Orthocles Feldspar Calcio, speaking on behalf of Ava.
Grow.
Doc, you hear in your head. Anything you want to tell him?
Keep up the good work.
Doc says keep up the good work.
Grow.
Doc, I think... Can you make them bigger? I think they want you to make them bigger.
It would
Doc,
take,
that's a lot of responsibility. You're giving a lot of sentience to some vegetables.
it would take, like, if I have like 8 hours, I could make the place better, but I don't know if we want to wait that long.
No, fair. Looking up the giant gourd. Yeah, they're plenty big enough.
They seem to stare at you for a while before they seem to just kind of lose interest and go drifting back to the plants.
Oh, this is the best room so far.
As she's leaving, she's kind of like backing out the door and she's doing like this to all the different eye stalks. So there's a lot of...
You see, there's just one eye stalk that just stares at you.
As
Isman
we're walking
pops out of
out.
existence.
As we're walking out, Peach would like kind of slap Casey on the arm, and just say, "See, it doesn't always have to be a fight or something weird like that. You just walk on through sometimes. Goddamn."
Where the fuck did Esmond go? Did anyone hear a crack?
He was right over there. He was right here next to me.
Hi guys, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you actually probably see one of the gourds too, like just gone.
Yeah, I might be popping in and out of existence for another minute or so. Sorry about that, but it's
Cut
fine.
off in the middle of next... But...
You can choose to end blink at any time, Esmond.
No, but it's funnier
Glad
this
that's
way.
spelled.
No. I love it.
Why would I
this way.
choose? This is my first time using it. Why would I choose to end it early?
Oh, can I like grab a hold of like your hand or like your sleeve? And do I continue to hold it when you blink out? And am I holding it when you blink back?
Sure, you hold Esmond's sleeve, and then he's not there.
You
So I'm
hold his
holding
hand.
nothing.
No, you
Yeah.
hold his mechanical hand. He blinks out of existence. You're still holding his mechanical hand.
This is an experiment.
All right.
But then am I holding it when you come back? Is I think the question.
Your hands get melded together.
Like the
Oh, good. I
fly.
love the fly.
Yes.
What do you guys do? The pumpkins seem to have
Let's
lost interest in you.
let's see the last room, man.
All right, as you begin to head down the winding stairs, they spiral down and lead you once more to a chamber much like the others.
Is the dwarf following us?
What?
Is the dwarf with us?
Fane? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wide-eyed, silent.
As Casey's leaving, he turns back to the Lord of the Harvest and says into the mind link, maybe watch in case anyone comes through that means us harm, yeah?
Guard.
Guard. And he turns and leaves.
Yeah, Esmond would have been the last one out, and he just like softly, thank you. And just leave.
Guard the door.
Corridor.
Okay.
All right. You move down into another chamber. You hear the trickling of water. And who's the first one down?
Ava's pretty close to the front. She's probably not up there. She's not beating everybody, but she seems pretty happy.
As you move down, when you hit that first, the landing at the base of the stairs, there's a small little splash. And you realize there's about half an inch of water or so on the floor. Immediately, you see two fountains that are trickling here. There's some water dripping a little bit from the ceiling, but also some cracks in these fountains as well, spilling out onto the floor. And there's a very thin amount of water here. What you see is, it's a little puzzling at first what you're looking at. Looks like a series of partially completed walls, or parts that have crumbled. It's a little hard to make out what you're seeing at first. It looks as though the water dripping into the room has done some damage to the stone. But you do see in this room 4 seem to be glowing magical crystals of some kind. And just above you as you come into the room, you see a stone plaque on the ceiling.
Milan squints up at this one and blinks in surprise and says, bullshit.
Casey echoes that sentiment.
You notice something You do notice something immediately interesting, though. The far side of the room, the northern side, the door's open.
Then looks, she's about to read it out loud, and then looks across the room. Should I read it out loud for the recording?
Yes, please do.
She says, 2 are 1 and 1 are 2, the same yet not, and who are you? Drift away, return again, the water calls and you descend. Breathe in deep but take no breath, death is life and life is death. Those 2 eyes, they are the same. They see you, whom do you blame? Loss is gain and gain is loss. What do you keep, what do you toss? Left behind and far too often, a half is gained and not forgotten. Existence? Somehow?
Casey's still looking up at it. It's about her. It's about you and her.
Milan looks across at the through the room and realizes the door's open. And without a word, she starts to run as fast as she can across the room.
Wait, Ava tries to stop.
Is Ava able to stop you?
You're trying to physically stop me because she's not stopping for words.
I guess as she's trying to run across, I think I'll try to catch her before Ava tries to cast a spell that it would include her, I think. Let me just double check. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna post this, and I'll try to articulate what happens. Sorry, 1 second. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm trying to cast Water Walk. So I'll post it here in a second. But as she's running across, she's taking those first couple of steps, splashing into the water. She may or may not notice that after the spell, sort of small bits of light, they sort of go around to the feet, and she kind of rises up and begins running across the top of it.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so instead of your feet splashing in the water, you step right across the surface. There's a slight ripple. But as you get right there, just about past where Esmond is, the crystal closest to you glows, and a beam of light shines onto you, Ishtalan. Immediately, on the far side of the room, the door slams closed. But at the base of the crystal that's shining on you, where the water is sort of licking up against the edge of it, there's a spark, like something's wrong, and a burst of electricity passes through all the water in the room. Ishtalan and Ava, you'll automatically have resistance to this because you're on the surface.
It's all 10 creatures. Everybody gets Water Walk.
Oh, everyone then will have resistance to this. And you take, everyone in the room, take 6 points of lightning damage. And Fane goes, and
That's 3, technically.
yeah, you have the base is 6, you have resistance, whatever would affect you.
I actually take only 2 damage because I am naturally resistant to lightning.
This is probably a good moment for whoever's paying attention to notice that Casey also seems less affected to the lightning damage.
What?
Just like Esmond.
Yes.
Is this an anything you can do, I can do better?
Yes.
Well,
Let me have my own thing.
Casey's been shocked by Esmond enough to know what it's like.
Nothing shocks
Sorry, I didn't
Casey
mean to
anymore.
click that.
Well, Peach takes damage, and you all hear it. Oh. God damn!
But the door, the base of the crystal had sparked, or all of the crystals had sparked?
Just the closest one. Only the closest one is shining a light at you.
And nothing else happening beyond that
No.
crackle of electricity? Okay. And the door at the end is still closed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She skids to a halt, which sends up a flume of water on the other side. Looks down at the moment, but doesn't even have a thought for that, despite how completely awesome it is. And then stares at the crystal and then the door and the crystal again and says, "What the fuck?"
All right. Really quickly, so as Ishtalan runs forward, skids to a halt, light still shining at her, what does everyone else do?
Ava's pretty confused. She's just sort of looking around, waiting for others, and shocked. But, not as... more shocked than Casey and Esmond, but no more shocked than anyone else.
All right. Anyone else doing anything, or is everyone just staying where they are and watching?
I'm
Casey,
gonna look in the pool of water nearest me.
Okay. Take a look into the pool. At a quick glance, it appears to be ordinary water, but it is spilling slightly over the edges with some cracks in the pool. It's probably formed as a result of the earth shakes. And we're going to keep the actions really short.
Casey waves his hand towards the ground beneath him and moves the water away from his feet so that he just touches the dry ground.
All right, now the water moves to the side, abandoning the space beneath you. Peach array. Bane's like,
If I'm close,
good idea. Sorry, he jumps up on the thing.
if I'm close enough to Casey, I will follow along with his shape water and stay dry.
You cannot occupy the same spot as him, so you cannot share it.
Okay, no worries.
It's only 5 feet.
Yeah. She'll stand next to him and say, Casey,
Realize
don't know
I feel like
the water's slightly higher around your feet as you're standing next to him.
You're on top of it,
I don't-
though.
this is going to destroy my shoes.
Is anyone not? Ava, you did something. You already did that thing.
Yeah, she was waiting, and so as people start entering the room, I guess she's gonna start slowly walking behind them. So she's trailing behind the people, moving briskly, and yeah, just moving a little bit further into the room while looking back over her shoulder to see what Array is doing around the pool. And just taking it all in.
That's good. Okay. At the end of that round, Esmond, Ishtalan, Ava, and Peach. You all, this is another, as the light's still pointing at Ishtalan, there's another spark from the crystal, and all the people I named are looking at 16 lightning damage.
Wait, who? I didn't hear my names.
Yeah, you and Fane, because you're up on the thing, are safe.
Yeah, thank God.
Ow.
How many?
16 base lightning damage. You might have resistance to that or whatever, but 16 is the base.
That after that second current of energy hits us, Esmond is going to step to the side onto the fountain there, and say to Ishlan as he steps away, "Hey, maybe we take this one slow a little bit, and you step away from the crystal that's pointing light directly at you and sending off currents of electricity through the water."
Islan's already moving and she snaps. And then, stop condescending to me. And she's moving over this way.
Ishtalan hears in her head, if she's in here, we'll find her.
After getting zapped, Peach is getting onto one of these higher surfaces. She's standing near Esmond.
All right. Ava, Casey.
Yeah, he'll be moving towards after Ishtalan. But continuing to, if he steps off of this thing, he'll continue to move the water away from his feet with shape water.
All right.
When everyone gets out of the light, does anything else happen?
Yeah, touch just a second. Okay, yeah. So Ishtalan, as you move to the right, move up. As that wall comes between you and the crystal that was shining at you goes dim, but the one just to the north of you now lights up and points down at you. Once again, there's a burst of cracking electricity from the base of that crystal. And it's only Ishtalan that will be looking at this. Looking at a base of 14 points of lightning damage.
Maybe run on the ceiling like you did a second ago?
Or the walls. The walls that are like a.
Do I have a chance to move right now?
Yeah, after the damage, you guys can do stuff again, so everyone can take sort of a turn worth. We're not really in initiative, so everyone will just pass or do something.
So she moves basically into here, and we'll get over to the wall before clicking her boots together and rising up along the side of the wall.
You drift upward away from the water. Anyone else doing anything, or just staying where you are?
Esmond is seeing that there are no lights targeting Ishlan. Esmond's going to actually experiment and step back into the water and walk towards the crystal, like 5 feet into the water, 5 feet forward to see if the target lights up and directs at him.
Just place yourself where you want to be. Okay. Yeah. So when Ishlan, when you move where you are, the crystal to the north goes out. The one in the south opens up or turns on and shines a light at Esmond. Once again, there's a crack of electricity.
Casey waves his hand and moves the water away from Esmond's feet.
Roll a wisdom saving throw to see if you do it quickly enough.
Okay. 20? Dirty?
That'll do it. The water vacates from beneath Esmond. There's electricity cracks through the room along the water, but nothing. No one's facing any damage.
Okay, the crystals will target anyone, not just specifically Ishtalan.
I think the question is if one of us needs to be a stand-in for Shalati or not.
These pillars, these walls, do they go up to the ceiling? And how tall is the ceiling?
Yeah, the ones that are illustrated on the map go all the way to the ceiling. The ceiling itself is about 15 feet high. But there are other crumbled parts of the wall that are just not drawn. But what you can tell is there used to be more walls here. Does anyone want... what do you guys sort of do in this round?
Esmond is going to stay in the water, and he's going to... Can we see Ishtalan? Like, I'm probably not from this angle. Like, see her running up the ceiling.
It just depends where you are.
Esmond's just going to yell out, "Hey, I've got this one in the south targeted at me. Wherever you're at, maybe find. Maybe we need to get all the crystals to light up at one of us each to get that door open again."
Islam is going to move along the ceiling, maybe to like here-ish.
Okay. Yeah. As you move there, the crystal in the north lights up and points at you. Anyone else doing anything?
Peach would holler to Esmond, or rather, he's not far. Would say to Esmond, what? If we activate all these things, aren't they going to shock us again? I don't want to be in the water when that happens.
Well, I haven't thought about that, but Ishtalan can avoid getting shocked. O has means of preventing anyone else from getting shocked. I can avoid getting in the water. We just need someone else to get to the furthest crystal, I think.
They all need to be turned on?
Maybe, I have no idea.
Yeah.
It's too bad we can't just like fly across.
Yeah.
Well, Peach could Misty step.
Hold on. Esmond's going to step back onto the fountain. Okay. I'm gonna do something I've been holding off on for a while because there really didn't seem to be a good time for it. Esmond is going to brandish his wand, drawing a circle in the air. The circle will travel and glow beneath his feet before vanishing. And as it vanishes, the natural wind that surrounds Esmond will begin to gather and rush, becoming stronger as Esmond begins to glide off of the floor. Not too dissimilar to how he levitated Ava in the previous room. But he has more control than levitate as he begins to move forward, backward, across all dimensions, and he has cast fly on himself.
Ooh. Mm. Lifting up into the air. Where do you go? What do you do, Esmond?
This is in character. He starts laughing, actually, like really genuinely, just joyous laughter at being in the air like he is right now.
Peach,
Oh man.
Peach next to him has an immediate reaction of, "What are you, Asmund? You are gonna kill yourself. What are you doing?"
I'm not gonna kill myself. I'm not touching the water. I'm gonna out to the furthest crystal in the north. Get that one to target me. We just need someone to get the one on the west to target themselves, and then this one nearest us. Easy enough to just jump in to the water, target, jump back out before getting hit. Uh, oh, should probably take the one in the west. I'm gonna go zipping around a little bit, and he takes off before anyone else can get a word in.
You say,
Yeah.
you say all as you're flying up. Ishtalon, don't move yet. Esmond, move where you're moving. Anyone else who is moving, move where you're going. Ishtalon,
Esmond,
stay where you were. We're still on the turn that you moved there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
as Esmond starts to levitate and then begins to drift off and fly, Ava kind of leans over to Casey and it's like, I think he went up to you this time.
No, it's great, isn't it? Okay, Casey grins in the direction of Esmond, laughing. And he said, West Crystal, yeah? All right. And Casey runs to the other fountain, and he's going to move north using bonus action dash and then cast Shape Water at his feet.
Show me where you're going.
Meanwhile, Peach would nod to Ava and say, "I'm willing to take the risk of the sudden shock if you need me to. I can pop back over here if I need pretty quick. So I'll take the southern one."
Alright, I'll wait here, I guess. And Ava casts a spell on herself so that she can move a little bit faster. Her legs glow a little bit, and then she waits.
Okay. And Peach, you're standing in the water.
Remind me how are we able to activate these things? I don't know the mechanics of it.
You guys are figuring that out right now.
Okay. All of these things are up to the ceiling?
The crystals.
All of the wall portions.
The walls you can see on the map are floor to ceiling.
Okay. Yes, Peach would be in or on rather the water because we all have
Yeah, the water walk. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
water walk. Yeah. Yeah, Peach would be on the water here.
All right. So I think everyone finished moving. Ava, are you moving?
She's over there with the shadow.
Okay, sounds good. Nerea and Fane are up there. Fane goes out. I'm gonna be careful. Okay. As you guys move into your positions, sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, just because Doc, when Casey left your side, you noticed his shadow did not go with him.
Oh yeah, okay. She sort of like nods in his direction with a familiar like, "What's up?"
All right. There, as you guys move into your positions, there is a light pointing now at Casey. There is a light pointing at Peach. There's a light pointing at Ishtalan and a light pointing at Esmond. Casey has no water beneath them. Ishtalan is in the air. Esmond is in the air. So Peach, you will have resistance to all of this, as there are 4 pulses of electricity as one comes out from each of the pillars. And you are looking at 22 and then 31 and then 24 lightning damage base. You have resistance to each of those.
What does resistance mean? Remind me.
You'll take half damage.
Okay. All right, Peach is, she probably goes down, but she is still alive.
No, I don't think you could. Just
Yeah, 'cause-
do half of those, and that won't kill you. But you're hurt, I'm sure.
Oh, right. Yeah. I just meant like she's bloody.
I think it's half of 77, right, guys? That 34? Or
It's
that looks right to me.
39, right?
39,
So
okay.
11, 16, and 12.
11, 16, 12, okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Peach, I suppose, kind of takes the full shock of it and staggers back and falls into the water and spits blood. Says, "This wasn't right. Whatever this was, this."
You all see as lightning courses through Peach. She falls backwards. She can't fall into the water. She hits the surface of the water and it ripples, but she can't fall through it. And you see all of the crystals beginning to charge. Again, the door on the north is still closed. And that's where we'll end for tonight.
Sorry, just Ishtalan cannot see this right now, right? There's no line of sight.
Ishlan cannot actually see what's happening now. Neither can Casey. Esmond can.
More for you to feel guilty about Esmond.
All right, and that's where we'll end for tonight.
Shocking cliffhanger.
No cliffs here.
Presumably, Peach made a yelp, though.
Yeah, she was like that. That
Yeah,
didn't work.
she said what she said, which was that didn't work, and we need to find a different plan.
Yeah.
Come
We
on,
need to-
Peach, be a team player.
No,
we
her
just
next
need to hide
action is
from
to
all
get
of it.
out onto the fountain and then like sit there like crisscross until you all figure out this dungeon. I did the last one, you all. All right, this one's not peaceful or nice.
The water walk was clutch, though. That was
Yep.
thinking right at the
Yep.
start there.
And it lasts an hour, thank goodness.
Yeah,
we need
thank
to
you,
hide
Ava.
from the
You
crystals.
saved my life, girl.
That's my job.
And the thing is, I think we also saw. Wait, no, we don't, because we had long rest. Never mind. Actually, no, we do. Because water breathing is like 24 hours, isn't it?
Yeah, water breathing, I think is, yeah.
Stick your face on the ground.
If we could fall into the water, we could also breathe in it.